they're gone. Alright. So you guys were taking a carriage to get to the outskirts of town, outside the city of Arondia. You're going to go check out the Varden Estate, where the family that resides there, the Vardens, have been absent from court for a few weeks at this point. Courtier investigators hadn't had time to go out and check it because they were dealing with a situation in Rowanwood. But one of the gentlemen at the court, Dorian, decided to put together his own excursion to go and investigate the situation. So you have taken a carriage north, and it's about 2 hours outside of the city, and you are pulling up, just basically cresting over a slight rise in the road, and you can see the beginnings of the Varden Estate, where all of the large trees surround the edges of their estate.
Do we see any obvious signs of life, like people or anything like that?
The last farm that you passed was about a quarter of a mile before, between the forested area and the farmlands. There's just untilled land.
What about the estate itself?
The estate itself, you can't hardly even see the house.
But we're not quite there yet. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's not so much that as it is you've approached the tree line where the house is, where the property starts, but you can't see through the trees because there are so many large, thick trees growing there.
Okay.
Where's she messing with?
She is in a bag and messing with a cord. But it's smarter than she is, so it's probably fine. So, as you guys approach the estate, who is inside and who is on top of the wagon? If I remember right, Dagmar's in a driver's seat with the driver.
I think everybody was inside, other than Dagmar.
Okay. So, the wagon, the carriage that you guys are riding in actually comes to a stop just before the edges of the property where it would start. The road continues, but the carriage has stopped. You hear a thunk thunk on the outside edge of the carriage wall.
Okay.
You guys might want to come out here.
All right. I'll
Wait for the carriage guy to come open the door.
The door opens and the stairs like pop down like they're supposed to, but it's not the carriage guy, it's Dagmar. The carriage guy is busy trying to keep the horses restrained. The horses are acting up
Okay.
and acting very strange. There's something going on with the horses. I'm a ship person. I don't know what's up with horses. So
Anyone good with animals?
Mm-mm. I'll go down the stairs and exit the carriage.
We've dealt with this.
The horses just are acting spooked, basically. They don't want to stand in one space. They keep picking their hooves up and rearing their heads back and trying to shake out of the reins holding them back. Just basically, they won't go forward. They refuse to go forward.
These Dioran horses?
They are not Dorian horses. No, these are borrowed, basically. They if they were skeletal, that'd be pretty cool though. I don't know if Dior has their own like horse lines, but I'm assuming they would not have brought those on a ship to here. It's just a lot of extra work.
They probably have ones that are used to like undead and other
other shenanigans with the undead. Yeah.
I guess we disembark from the carriage.
How far of a
look down the road to see why the horses aren't actually doing what they're supposed to be doing.
There doesn't appear to be anything in the road. It continues to look like the road behind it. You guys left cobblestoned roads a while back, so at this point it's just a well traversed dirt road basically. So it's wide enough for about 2 carriages to go down. Wider carriages, of course, would have to pull off to the side.
For those of us that are magically inclined, is there like some kind of feeling in the air or anything?
There is, especially for the necromancer, there is a feeling of something in the woods. And it almost feels as if you guys are being watched from the woods.
But we don't see anything.
You don't hear anything either. The only sounds are the jangle of metal on metal and the horses snorting and just generally making a ruckus.
We're still about how far from the actual
You've just
house,
come
do
up
you think?
to the house. You can't see the house. You haven't actually been out here before, so you're not sure how far from the road the house is. But generally, there's a bit of a driveway into the property before it goes to the house. The houses on the estates aren't parked right at the road.
So we're not sure, and
Well, I guess we traverse from here on foot.
I guess so. Cara, have you been out here before? To this
Would I have been
family?
that far close to the estate?
Probably not. I mean, your family was merchants. Their business was in town. They
Yeah.
might have gone to functions and social gatherings at those estates to do like elbow rubbing. But how old were you when the accident happened?
It was 4 years ago.
So, how old were you?
20. So you would have been an adult.
Yeah.
You've probably been out to some estates, but for the most part, the Vardens didn't really host. They have theirs is more of a family estate than a social gathering place. There is a low stone wall, about 2 feet off of the ground. It's very, very low. That just runs along the front of the property, and it just looks like it's to keep people from running into their precious trees. And there is a gate. She will chew your ears, watch out. There is a gate. It's raw iron. It's just like a low arc, and it's got the Varden's family's crest in it, which is just, yeah, they're adorable. Just a typical shield shape. There's a triangle that comes up out of the bottom of it that's black. The rest of the field is brown, and there's a green tree on the forefront of it. And that leads into their
Does the
estate.
gate look like it's in good condition still?
Yeah, it's well maintained. It's a little creaky when you go to open it, but it's iron, so it's just heavy. And go ahead and make insight checks for everybody.
Inside.
Insight.
I am insightful.
19.
23.
Damn.
20.
17.
6.
Wentsu's pretty sure it's a normal forest. It's kind of dark, but it's trees. Everyone else definitely gets the sense that something is watching them, and that this is not a hospitable place. There's definitely a feeling of danger as you go in here.
Well, I
Kind of
make,
like purposely walking down a dark alleyway at night, you know that there's bad juju in there.
well, I make sure to cast mage armor.
Okay. The carriage driver is busy trying to get the horses under control, and he just says, "Should I wait here, or should I wait further up the road for you? Do you want me to come back?"
Just pull off over there somewhere and just wait here.
Yeah, if you go back far enough where the horses aren't spooked, we can send a message when we're done here.
I think they would very much appreciate that. And he works on trying to basically get the horses to turn around and do like a 3-point UE to get the horses back towards the other direction. And you basically go to that empty field between the two estates. Well, the estate and the farm. Call me if you should need me, my lord.
Very well.
And if you don't, I do know the message spell, so we can get a hold of
So
them.
do I.
I have a raven.
Okay.
I have a whistle. Pip, pip.
Have you could send a raven.
Alright, well this forest, there's definitely something creepy about it. I'm sure it's not normal for this family from what I've heard of them.
Mm-mm. This family, I mean, they didn't. The most newsworthy thing that's happened with the Varden family lately is that
There was a murder.
the murder, and then shortly before that, the marriage, and that was pretty much it. But it was very romantic.
Possibly related.
Murder is often romantic.
Yeah.
Sure.
Alright, well, I guess, are we going to
I don't-
carry on? Does anyone have anything we feel we need to look for before we...
Dagmar's gonna grab her pack from the carriage and throw it over her shoulder before she basically gets out her swords and is ready to approach the situation.
Well,
Situation.
Just start walking down the road.
yeah.
Okay.
Hey, there's a big wrestler.
Huh? Is that a wrestler situation? Alright. So, you guys head into the forest. There's a road that goes through. It does wind a little bit, so it's not a straight shot look at the house. Once you get about halfway through, you can start to see the outside exterior of the manor, which looks it looks like it's made out of wood. Not exactly strange for the family being from the timber industry, but most places out here would be built of stone or brick, more solid materials, less flammable materials for sure. Let's see here.
Say we burn the place down. Story now.
I don't think that's a good idea. A little
Just throw
whisper
a
in your
torch
ear.
down the hall.
Yeah, jeez. A lit torch. It'll be fine.
Let's burn out these spider
What
webs.
could go wrong?
Alright, so as you guys are walking through the forest, are you talking amongst yourselves? Are you moving forward quietly? What is your means of approach?
Well, I think with the like creepy atmosphere that we would be relatively quiet. Like we're not really going to be talking, and we're going to be keeping a lookout for.
Probably not actually stealthing,
Yeah.
but just quiet so we can actually pay attention to what's going on around us.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. That's what I think. I mean, if anyone else's character is going to be noisy, that's on them.
Well, maybe Dagmar.
No one seems very chatty, so she'll just kind of walk along with the rest of them and just like.
I would assume that Dagmar and Kara are taking the lead as they're the most, physically tough
Yeah.
members of the party.
Let me get perception checks from you guys. Dagmar has no idea what's going on.
3.
3? Alright.
21.
Okay.
18.
Alright.
12?
16.
16? Okay. So you 3 will hear it then. There's a weird kind of clacking sound in the bushes not far from you. And it kind of sets you on edge because, well, you haven't really heard any other sounds.
Yeah.
But it just sounds like either sticks being banged together or something along those lines. But it's an oddly hollow sound.
Do you guys hear that?
Yeah. Hear what?
That
There's a
clacking
noise.
sound.
I'm just sitting here scritching my bird under its chin.
Where's the noise coming from? Up in front of us, to the left or right?
To the right, off into the brush, about 15 feet off into the brush. When you guys go to look at it, there's actually there's a really kind of strange sight. The bush rustles a little bit, and then out of the brush comes a skeleton, but not of a humanoid figure. It looks like it's a fawn, because it's only about 3 or 4 feet tall, and it's completely stripped of flesh. It's just a fawn skeleton. It looks like a baby deer.
Is it acting like a fawn would, or is it aggressive?
Pretty much acting like a fawn would. It stands up out of the brush, kind of shakes itself. Its little tail nub kind of flicks a little bit as it looks, quote unquote, into your guys' direction.
Oh, it's okay, guys. It's just a little deer.
Seraphina, I don't think that's a... Okay.
It is. It's just a little deer.
Is there anything
Look how
else
cute
around?
it is.
Do we see anything else?
I agree, it's adorable.
It's not that you guys are, well, not that you or Dagmar are aware of. And then what did you get on yours again?
3.
3.
Okay, so the 3 of you guys will hear it as it comes up behind you. Dagmar's standing there at the road. She's not really sure what you guys are looking at, but she's kind of looking over you. And something comes up behind her and bites into her shoulder.
Oh,
And
What?
Let's see.
So we hear
does
that.
Dagmar
Yeah,
cry?
she just, ah!
Yeah.
She's going to turn and whack at it with her sword. It does not hit her. Basically, it glances off of her armor, but it looks like a guard. Its flesh is sunken in, like it's almost been like vacuum sealed out, where And the flesh is sunken, and its eyes are all hollowed, and its eyes are a gray, like a glowing gray color. I need to roll initiative.
Are you keeping track, or do you want one of us to?
If one of you could write it down, that would be cool.
I could do that.
I'll let you do that.
Alright. So, Dorian.
7.
Dagmar's an 11.
Seraphina.
9.
Kara.
18.
Wentsu.
8.
You said Dagmar was 11.
Yeah, and the creature is a 5. When Dagmar hollers out after being bitten by the thing behind her, the baby deer startles and like bounces off into the woods.
Alright, well, Sylan is first.
Okay.
So he's just gonna Eldritch Blast it, like,
Okay.
because it doesn't.
Eldritch is force, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it? It doesn't look like intelligent or like standard undead.
It is
like,
very much a shambling undead.
Okay.
Its arms are just kind of flopped onto Dagmar, trying to get a grasp of her and bite into her arm.
So I got a 19
That'll
on the
hit.
first one,
Okay.
and I don't know if cold matters, but I've got 11 force and 7 cold, so 18.
Let me steal your, actually, okay.
And then if it's still standing, second Eldritch Blast, 24 to hit. And that will be another 11 force and 3 cold.
So 14 more damage?
Yep. If the cold doesn't matter, just, I don't know if you want to let me know so I can just add it all up together.
It doesn't appear to be having any more effect than it. As your blasts hit into the body of it, it flails back a little bit, so it releases Dagmar. But it doesn't appear to be hurt any more than one would normally hurt from being slammed with 2 blasts from an Eldritch Blast.
Okay. With Sylan down, it is Kara.
Okay, so since we got 5th level, I have an extra attack, so I get to do just 2 automatically.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then
you
if
get
I
two.
spent a key point, I
You
could
get
do
2
2
more.
more.
Right. Yeah, okay, so you do 2,
That's just
and
my
you
normal
automatically get 1 bonus action for offhand.
attack. So I can just
or-
hit 3 times
Yeah,
all the time right now?
yeah. You
Yeah,
just
but
gotta
you're without
remember
spending
it's your
key.
bonus action though.
Okay.
Yeah, if you spend a key point for your bonus action to do flurry, you
You
get
do.
4 instead of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna punch it. So I'm standing next to Dagmar.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna punch it. Does a 22 hit?
Yes.
How about 23?
Yeah.
And 20?
Yep.
Okay.
And you get to use your new
So-
glove.
Those were really crappy rolls, though. You should try harder.
Okay, so I should, I have to do a d6 and a d8 for each one of those. I'm gonna have to like start adding up my points in the side.
Just for buying dice, that'd be cool.
Make sure you count the
Yeah, that's
necrotic
nice.
separate because
It-
it may or
Oh,
may not
okay.
be as effective.
Yeah. If it's undead, then necrotic might
The
not
second
be.
one is necrotic.
Yeah, the D8.
Thank you for reminding me of that. So I've got 12 regular damage
Okay.
and 17 necrotic.
Okay.
Well, regular. Did you add your dexterity modifier into all those?
Oh,
So 12
You thought you were out
plus
doing homework.
right,
15. So
yeah,
so 27 blunt damage, and
17 necrotic.
Your first punch catches it like right in the upper chest area, and its head knocks back, and it's on its way down, and you're just like, "No, fucker," and just go for it.
Overkill, my
Oh,
specialty.
shit. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's fine. Your last punch cases in its chest cavity, and it just
This is it.
caves.
caves in. I was close. There was a cave. There was a vowel in there.
Cave.
Yeah.
Cakes it in.
Cakes in its chest.
Cafefe's in its chest cavity.
And it just slams down to the ground behind it, and then you watch the one that's behind it. There's actually a second one in the brush coming out of it. Doesn't even seem phased that the its partner has gone down. It just keeps shambling forward. Well, it seems kind of caught up in some blackberry vines and very confused. So, who is after Ms. Kara?
Well, Kara still has movement if she wants to, I think.
Okay.
Other than that, it is Dagmar.
How far away is that other one?
You guys were halfway through the road, so it'd be maybe 10 feet, if that.
I'm just gonna take a defensive position.
Okay. All right. So squat down, get your fists in, bring your elbows in. That's good. Dagmar is going to rush forward and attack
It'll be
the
nice.
creature. I don't have enough d20s. Okay, so 2 hits, 3 hits. So Dagmar goes up to it with both of her long swords and basically just brings them in through its chest cavity. It's still standing, but now it can't quite reach her because she basically pinned it away with her swords. Who's after Dagmar?
Seraphina. Then Wentsu will be after that.
So Seraphina is going to use vicious mockery.
What does she say?
She's gonna say, "You're nothing but a pile of lousy bones."
Alright. DC. What's the DC for your saves? For your spell?
They should be on your spell sheet if you haven't. Oh, you passed it. There.
14.
That's a wisdom?
I believe it's
Yes.
wisdom.
It fails.
Ooh.
It seems horribly mocked and it stops flailing for a second on these swords and just.
Alright, so roll damage. The little pointy one. Yeah.
So 2.
Aren't you 5th level?
Does are
Does
you
it-
5th level? Does it go up like that?
All cantrips go up.
Yeah, I think cantrips. It just goes up another
Like-
die, right?
Probably.
What about it?
Did you at least?
I didn't
Right.
change anything on this.
Alright, so
Use whatever name.
vicious mockery now does. Yep, another D4 as well. So
Nice.
So 5.
Okay.
5 psychic damage.
5 psychic, and it has disadvantage on its next attack roll.
Excellent. Okay. Now that you guys are fighting it, you can. There's. You're not sure how you didn't notice it before, but there's a terrible smell coming off of it once you get into real close range. Dagmar's like trying to hold it away, just holding her breath. Because it stinks. Who is after?
It went to.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll move up close to it. I don't know how far away I was, but
Okay. You were probably about 20 feet away because you were looking into the bushes to see what was going on there.
alright.
You have very interesting ears.
Apparently.
That's your Yash is playing the role of your mouse.
Your mouse.
Yes.
Cheater.
Yeah.
Cheaters.
Are you ready for battle?
Chew it on the ear. Don't do it. Oh no, go.
Alright. So, Wentsu will go up and attack it. He will miss. I'm sure. 11.
That is a miss. Yes.
And then rogues don't get another attack because they have like so much sneak attack damage on this
Yeah.
stuff they can do.
OP.
All right, if that's all that Wentsu is doing, it is Dorian's turn.
Okay. So, what type of undead is it?
It is a ghast.
Ghast. Foul creatures. I'm going to do Chill Touch. Actually, no. These guys seem to be doing pretty good. I'm just going to go ahead and cast Mage Armor.
Okay. Fairly straightforward.
Yeah,
Do you move
they
at all,
seem.
or do you stay on that side of the road?
I stay where I'm at.
Okay.
I just cast Mage Armor on myself. They all seem to be handling the ghast fairly well.
All right, and speaking of, it is the Ghast's turn with their amazing 5.
Okay. The ghast can't quite reach to bite at anything, but it's going to try and sweep its claws at Dagmar. She is the one who has stabbed it. Seems concerned. Can't quite get to you because he's impaled at the moment.
Plus, I don't think Seraphina actually went up close.
No, yeah, she talks shit at it.
She's good at that.
So it does have disadvantage on
On
its
its attack.
next attack. Not all of them, just the next one.
Tired kitten. That's a tired kitten.
Would it say it had multi-attack if,
Yeah. It would say at the very top of the attack section, it would say multi-attack, and then tell you what attacks they get to do.
okay. So if it just says actions and then lists 2 attacks, it's one or the other. Okay. So it kind of flails its claws at Dagmar, but it's held back just far enough that it can't quite reach her to attack her.
Alright. Well, it's initiative again after that.
Okay.
Dorian,
18.
Seraphina,
14.
Kara,
17.
Wentsu,
21.
Dagmar,
19,
and Gast.
16.
Well, alright, Wentsu is first. And then Dagmar and Sylan will be simultaneously after that.
Wentsu will attempt to attack it again. A 22 this time.
That's definitely a hit.
It's sneak attack.
I thought you were saying ants. Like, I mean, there might be bugs here. Make a perception check.
So, look at his ear right here. Alright. So 10, 21.
21 points of damage.
21 points damage.
Okay.
Is it piercing?
Piercing here.
Alright.
My dagger doesn't do anything against.
No,
Yeah,
nothing.
just the giants. We haven't killed any giants, we haven't found anything big, so I got a cool dagger that does.
So you're stabbing this gas going, wish you were a giant.
Wish you were a giant gas.
The gas has no idea what that means, but he falls to the ground, deader than dead. Congratulations, you've killed it. And they're looking around. It appears there were only the 2 of them, and that they have basically come in through the brush on the other side of the road from where you guys saw the baby deer.
Okay. So looking at their, do they look like they were actually once people here, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're actually
know
still
the-
wearing their armor that they had, assumably when they were alive.
So like house guard.
Yeah, they're house guards. They're wearing basic chain shirts, and then over the chain shirts they've got tabards that bear the family's emblem. Make a perception check.
Everybody?
If you are investigating the bodies, yeah. Well, actually, I guess it would be
Yeah,
investigation.
Yeah. Oh, I want to look through and see if I can find anything. Nope, I don't see anything.
There's 2 of them. You're pretty sure.
I got it at 8 total. So
All right,
Yeah,
they're dead.
yeah, there were guards.
Can I do an Arcana check to see if I can see how they were raised? Basically, how they became ghasts.
Yeah, you can give that a shot.
Oh, I'm 11 for investigation.
So looking at the bodies, again, they're shriveled. They're just husks of the people that they used to be. But other than the damage that you guys have done to them, you don't see any wounds on their body. Their throats weren't slit. They have
No puncture marks.
They haven't been bludgeoned in the head. They look like just regular folk.
Any keys on them?
No keys on these guys.
So an 18 on my Arcana check.
18 on your Arcana check. Okay. As far as how they were raised, it doesn't look like it was done ritually. There's no runes or anything with their bodies. As far as necromantic practices, you're not sure because there's no way that they don't appear to have died in any fashion, because typically that's the first step of raising undead is starting with a dead body.
Yeah.
But there's
So they don't look like they were killed by other ghasts
and then turned.
then
Yeah.
turned.
No.
And they don't look like they were created via like regular necromantic means.
Yeah, because usually that would work on something that was already dead.
Right.
These guys
Okay.
appear to have been in decent health before.
It's very odd. Very peculiar. we should proceed with caution. We don't know if any of you might be turned into undead creatures at any time.
How are you investigating the bodies to look for signs with your Arcana check, or are you just...
Yeah, that's...
Okay. Something that's strange that you notice about them is they appear that they were in perfect health, but their teeth are in points, like freshly shaven.
Like,
Yeah, filed
somebody filed
points. Yeah, their teeth have grown longer, like you're used to seeing in a ghast or a ghoul that has come from the graves to rend flesh. It's better that way for them.
Right.
But their teeth are just much longer and pointier than any humans should ever be.
Interesting.
But they don't, like investigating them, they didn't have any obvious signs of things in their pockets that notes any...
No, they were in uniform. They have you were guessing that they would have used longer weapons, because they don't appear to have anything on them. They've got a couple of belt daggers. They each has a dagger. They each have a dagger in their boot, but they appear to be standard uniform. They aren't carrying any larger weapons or have sheaths or halberds or scabbards for other weapons. English is hard. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess we kind of know what to look out for now.
I'm gonna keep walking down the road.
Okay.
Taking point.
You guys just leave the bodies there on the road?
I don't see any reason to do otherwise.
Okay.
Not at this point. Once we figure out what's going on, we can always send city guard back or whatever to clean up.
Can they come back from being dead again?
Well, considering that they weren't raised through any means that I recognize, I suppose the possibility is there.
Should they do
But
that?
I don't think that is very likely. But if you wish to take the extra precautions, we could burn the bodies.
I don't know about dead things that much, but my past friend knew quite a bit about stuff like that. And he told me stories of undeads dying and then coming back again.
Well, it is possible. It is a corpse that could be, by a proficient necromancer, be re-raised. The body's not damaged too badly.
Remind me to check Steve's pockets before he leaves for the night.
Like to sleep.
He's developed a lump.
So are we burning them?
I mean,
Is that something you guys want to do, or do we leave them here?
That's fine. Burn them.
if you want to burn them, you can burn them. I feel like we should just head on, but...
You don't want to alert anyone.
True. If they come back, they're easy enough to kill.
You don't sound bitter about that at all.
I want a challenge.
Don't say
So you guys just continue on towards the house then?
I mean, the other option is to try and see where they came from if there was a guardhouse, but I don't know if we want to go through the forest for that, the woods, or just head to the house.
I don't see much reason to. Our purpose is the family itself.
Yeah.
I doubt whatever is causing them to come back is just lingering at a guardhouse when they could stay in an entire manor house.
Yeah.
Then again, that's just from my perspective.
Or I'm fine just heading to the house.
Necromancers like to live posh where you live? Where you're from?
Yeah.
Is there any other way?
There's good money to be made in raising the dead.
It's hard to raise a family.
My two of my uncles and three of my cousins are necrosurgeons. They really work well with the local nobility and stuff, you know.
No. What do they do to them?
Well, you know, if they're not really happy with like an appendage or whatever, they can get replacements. Or, you know, like they don't like the color of their eyes, they get new ones. You know, sometimes they like to have, you know, greater endowments, so they go and purchase other ones to basically stitch on and then use magic to attach.
Dagmar looks at Kara and says, "Remind me never to go to Diora.
Alright.
That sounds fucking horrifying."
But let's circle back to the greater endowments part later.
Okay. Is there a smell? What's the average cost? Alright, so you guys follow up the road the rest of the way up towards the house. As you approach the house, the front of there's a yard basically in front of the house. It's not very wide. It's maybe the yard itself is maybe 50 feet wide, and the sides of the house actually extend into the woods, so that there's trees all along the backside and the sides of the house. You can see them even over the house. It's a 2-story, large wooden manor. Lots of windows. Some of the windows are open to the air. It should theoretically be noisy. There should be people living here. You should hear laughter. You should see people moving in the windows, airing laundry, anything. And there is nothing but the sound of the wind.
Did you turn off your sound?
I don't know what happened to the sound.
Sure is dead around here.
But that was beautiful. Okay.
But so we don't see any like monstrous or undead footprints or anything outside of no people or sound. We don't see or hear anything unusual besides the foreboding feeling we've gotten since we got here.
The foreboding feeling itself seems to be emanating from the house, but as far as sounds, there's the occasional clack of one of the shutters hitting the house itself from the wind basically brushing it. There's some scratching sounds from the tree branches brushing against the outside of the house itself, but there aren't. You don't hear anyone.
Is there a smell of death at all in the air?
The smell from the gas that were on the road kind of lingers, but overall it smells like pine trees out here. Lots of big evergreen trees surround the property.
There's a lot of trees out here.
Yeah, there's shit tons of pine needles. Their housekeeper must hate it.
I make my way over towards the front doors.
Okay. So you guys approach the front doors. It's a glassed-in porch, and just looking in through all the glass panels and the windows, you can see that there's a rocking chair set up and a couple of places for, you're assuming, probably boots, muddy boots, and there's just a low bench for people to sit on to take their shoes off of.
Okay. Well, do you want to check and see if the door is locked?
Check for traps first.
Front door, but I can.
Go ahead and, as you approach the door, make a wisdom saving throw.
It did me. 12.
You're having a hard time approaching the door. It's there is a very strong feeling of do not come in here. I don't want to go there. That thing is dangerous. You are feared. You are scared of the house. I'm approaching the house. Take disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of the fear is within line of sight, and you can't move closer to the source of fear until you save from the fear. But there's whatever foreboding feeling is coming from the house is keeping you from approaching it.
So do we see him just like stop trying to go up there?
Yeah. He stops, his hand starts to shake a little bit.
He steps back.
Everything okay, Wentsu?
Nope, the house is scary.
Do you think it might try and eat you?
It'll eat you too.
I'm just a tiny little snack, though.
Exactly.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Can't do it. I can't get any closer.
Do I know of anything magical that would be strong enough to like emanate like that far or that powerfully?
You've heard of dragons having like an aura of fear kind of thing. Dark paladins have a similar feeling about them, but there's just something resonates from this house that gets you on an internal level. That just it is bad wrong.
Okay. And it appears like it's from the house itself, so like if we tried another entrance, it likely would just be the same.
Do you approach the house to find out?
Should we try and find another entrance? Or should we just try and push our way through the front door?
Well, our friend here isn't going to do anything until we overcome the magic that's affecting him.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any abilities that could potentially...
Seraphina is brave. She has advantage on saving throws against being frightened.
Okay.
So he's saying that the house is scary.
Wait. Really yeah, go ahead.
Do you try and approach the house yourself?
Yeah, she's gonna run up there.
All right. She's go ahead and give me the same.
Don't worry,
wisdom saving
Wentsu,
throw.
I'll try.
So roll twice, take the highest.
And 18,
So wisdom, so you add that.
so 20.
Okay. You definitely can see what he's talking about. There's definitely something spooky about the house, but you've seen worse, so you're able to approach the house and get up to the front door itself.
I mean, it's a little bit scary, but it's not too bad, Wentsu.
Want to make another saving throw?
That's a different. Okay. My ring can stop paralyzed and restrained.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Reaction's pretty cool.
18.
There you go. Seeing this tiny little woman who is still as small as you are, smaller than you, able to bolster through and make it to the house, you kind of gather your courage and approach the front door, and it's still scary. You're still got ruffled feathers, but you're able to approach the house.
Alright. So now I can check the door for traps and locked, I guess.
Mhm.
It's investigation, that's right. I'm rolling really fun. Great tonight. 10 for traps.
Okay. Doesn't appear to be trapped.
Does it appear to be locked?
Does it appear to be locked? I'll have to check if it's locked, right? Just touch it. Is it locked?
Mm-mm. Door opens up easily.
Alright.
Does it squeak?
All right. You didn't quite roll high enough to detect the trap. When the door opens, there's a jingle, 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 jingle of a bell as you enter the house.
The actual like bell of the house. It's not that.
No, there's just a bell like a shop door
Right.
would
right.
jingle until the door had opened. In all of the quiet of the house, I mean, at this point, honestly, you guys can really only hear your breathing. The ringing of the bell seems to echo and just seems like garishly loud, opposed to the quiet.
Do we notice anything moving with, like, hearing the bell? Like, did we disturb anything?
Mm-mm. You don't see anything moving inside the room. It's got one thing that you couldn't see before when you were outside on the couch is or not on the couch, sorry, outside of the porch. There's a wicker couch in here that's got a bunch of cross-stitched pillows on it.
Do they say anything creepy or just the standard fare?
No, there's just like home sweet home. There's one with just like flowers on it. There's one with a teeny tiny little kitten with massive bow on it, surrounded by lace and doilies and flowers.
So since he can go in there, the rest of us don't really need to make saving throws?
Or do we?
You guys can approach the house, but you will be able to make. You'll have advantage because you've part of the party has been able to do it. There's safety in numbers.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so wisdom?
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, can't roll. Can you roll any higher than
17?
that?
Sorry. You're starting to have second thoughts about coming and investigating this place, but it's also piqued your curiosity because you come from a reasonably scary place compared to what other mortals are scared of, and there's not much that phases you, but for some reason you're able to stride confidently up to the door, but you can't quite make yourself walk through it.
So 17 is a failure.
Yes.
Dang, that's a heck of a save.
Well, Kara with the amazing natural 20 over there.
Nice, girl, it's a fucking house.
Yeah.
Punch it in the face.
27.
What the fuck did you roll?
A 19 with my plus 8.
Oh,
Damn.
I got plus 8 to wisdom.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a plus 8 to death, so.
Dagmar walks up next to you. Do we really need to go in there? I mean, there's nobody home, right?
Yes, we do need to go in there.
I'll go if you will. I'm gonna try again.
Do we have advantage again?
Yes.
These die rolls aren't working very well.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot we had advantage. Alright, Dagmar's gonna try and go for it. She's...
I mean, I've only got a plus 6, so...
I've got a +1. So
So I got a 15, but apparently the DC is 18, so...
yeah. What are the people inside the house doing?
Seraphina is playing with the pillow with the kitty on it.
Okay. Are you guys saying anything?
Sylan's just looking around. He's kind of looking back at Dorian.
Put your guys into the actual house.
There you
Is
go.
this room right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So who made it through?
Me. And Wentsu.
Everybody except me and Dagmar.
Yeah, I'm still by the door.
Is
Yeah,
she?
that's me.
Or by the door, like halfway through?
Well, I'm
maybe?
still in, like,
Oh, okay.
but
Don't eat it.
do you think something bad would happen if we just tried to pull you in?
I have no idea.
Start screaming.
Yeah, you're gonna freak out.
Yeah.
I'm here. What are these doors? What do they look like?
Those doors are heavy wooden doors. The doors that you guys came through, the two leading into the porch, were mostly artistic. It's a wooden frame with a large glass cutout in the middle of it, almost like French doors, but with locking handles on them. They were not locked when you came through them though. These doors on the inside are thick wood, and down near the two handles for opening the doors, there's another copy of the family crest, basically engraved into the wood. Go ahead and make another attempt to get into the house.
Hey, there you go.
It's a natural 20 that time.
There you go.
So
Nailed
26.
All right. Dagmar kind of loops her arm through yours, and together you guys are able to make it up into the porch. The feeling of unease is still definitely with you, but
Is your bird go to?
he's on him. He might be squawking up a storm, but he's with you.
Yeah, but he's unaffected that kind of stuff, so.
So now there is a large party of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you, just
Squished it over.
chilling in the foyer.
So I guess there's only one way to go, so we should probably
Have Wentsu check the doors.
see if see what lies ahead.
Seraphina, you were messing with the pillows, so go ahead and make an investigation check. Oh, they smell like old lady perfume, roses kind of thing. It's not exactly fashionable in the city anymore, at least in the city that you're from, but the pillows themselves have like a scent to them.
They smell like my Nana.
Alright, so the door itself has the two handles, and the kind of handles that come out from the door, drop down and loop back in with the little toggly bit on top of them to pull and open. Did you want to check out the door?
Is there a keyhole or anything like that?
Underneath the flippy dongle bit, yes.
So I will investigate the door. Again for any more bells. 18?
It's a very nice door. It doesn't appear to be trapped or have, it doesn't look like it's locked either. Basically, there's a very thin crack between the doors that you can just barely see through, but there's nothing latched between it.
Doors are not latched, but it's creepy quiet in here, so I'm gonna whip out my oil again. This time. On the hinges.
Sure. I'm sure the maintenance guy will definitely appreciate that.
I don't want to have to draw anything. I'm already scared of this house as it is. So.
Yeah. The doors will swing inward.
I'm gonna go first. Step through them.
Go monk.
Hmm?
So go monk.
Can you, can I see anything as I step I'm gonna step like in the door jam. Just kinda looking.
Into that hallway there is, there's a long rug basically that takes over the flooring in there. It's hardwood floors. And there's a nicer armoire kind of thing over on the far wall, basically for putting in coats and things like that for guests. But the only thing that you really notice about it is it's dark. There's a window here that faces on, basically it's on this wall that faces out into the front yard. And there's light that comes around the edges of the curtains, but the room itself seems very dark. Darker than it should for the time of day it is.
Well, it's a good thing you guys picked up some extra light sources. The
You get
drift
your
globe.
drift globe out and
Drift
say the
globe out.
word.
Say the word. The word.
The word.
Is your word the bird?
Torchlight just floats in between.
So your light pops up into existence, and it's silver glow fills the room. Looks like a fairly standard room. Other than the strange sense of wrongness and the impending darkness, the house seems like a regular home. It's kind of weird to be going into someone else's house uninvited, but there's not much that really strikes you as
That shouldn't surprise
out of
me at all.
place. Huh?
That doesn't surprise
We did this all the time.
me at all
We
going
show up at houses and we're just like, we're here. What's
Kicking
going
the
on?
door.
What's going on here?
Alright, so just one more door leading out.
Is that a door in the
Yeah,
hallway there? Okay. Just making sure. Alright. So
The door itself is already partially open.
I'm gonna sneak over there and look through the door though instead. So I
Okay.
don't want to just
Go ahead and make a stealth check.
randomly run through there. So that is a 19.
The door doesn't see you coming.
Sneaky to look around the corner. Not
Oh, okay.
Not sneaking
Alright.
up on the door.
You peer into the hallway, and there's a set of double doors on the left of the hall. These are very elaborate doors. Like there was a stained glass window. There was stained glass basically on the front French doors. It was just colored panes. But the two doors leading into that room have this massive tree motif across the top of it. Big branches with leaves on it, and then they come down and near the bottom of the door there's like a root system. The handles themselves are part of the trunk that you would basically pull outwards. It's very fancy. On the right hand side there is a simple door with a small window in it.
There are a lot of rooms in this house. I don't see anything in the hallway, so I'm going to gesture towards everybody that it's okay to walk over here.
Okay, I go into the hallway.
Go to the hallway.
Otherwise, we're not going to get
Yeah.
very far if we don't actually
Yeah.
go forward.
Go inside. Alright.
I'll go first. Go. But I'm gonna actually move past these doors and kind of just come over this way.
Okay. Kind of opens up into a wider area there. There's a potted plant in one of the corners and a large round
Is
rug
it
on the floor.
dark down this way too?
Yeah, there don't appear to be any light sources inside the house other than Wentsu's drift globe.
Okay. I'll get my drift globe out. Speak the command word.
Okay.
Do I hear anything down either direction?
Don't hear much. Your drift globe casts the light out and about it, but it doesn't seem to reach as far as you're used to it, especially you who's had one for a while.
Mm-hmm.
In the small room before, it wasn't so much noticeable because it's a very small room.
Mm-hmm.
Here in the hallway, you can only see about halfway down the hallway.
Seems to be like dampened
Yeah.
by whatever's going on in the house.
Yeah, something is pressing down on the light itself.
Which one of these, should we check out any of these rooms we're passing first? Probably.
I would recommend the one with the fancy door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds like the best one to check first.
Navigation on the door. Can I? Just leave it down here. So that is 13 for investigation on the door. That's-
Okay. It doesn't appear to be trapped. There is something sticking out from underneath the door, though. It's a piece of parchment paper.
Pick it up.
There's nothing written on it, just a blank piece of paper. Looks like someone basically had a sheaf of paper and one of them has come under the door.
I seen spy shit. There's something written on this.
Wentsu
Does
needs
anyone
a
have
lot of
some lemon
drawings.
juice?
Piece of paper. Fold it up real quick and shoot an airplane over here.
Okay, make a reflex save.
No.
Just right over your shoulder. Too fast, you couldn't catch it.
That would only have been a 9, so
Yeah. Well, you admired it as it flipped past you. How about that?
very nice.
Does it look amused at all?
Does the door
Alright.
look locked?
Does it door look locked?
It doesn't appear to be locked from this side. The handles are just simple wooden handles that one would pull on, but looking through it, you can't pull the door. If you pull on it, you'll feel that it feels almost like they're barred from the inside.
Like a heavy bar or perhaps a latch?
Go ahead and make an investigation check to
Maybe we'll
try and
close
puzzle
it.
that out.
Damn it. Wow. It's a 10.
Door stuck.
Okay.
Is there a gap at all?
It's a very thin gap, but with no light on the other side, it's hard to see. What you would
I
see.
go get his piece of paper.
Okay.
I unfold
there-
it
Alright.
and fold it to where it's flat enough. Cast light on the piece of paper and slide it back underneath the door.
Alright. Doing that, there is something large blocking it from the other side. That's the assumption that you get because your paper goes underneath and you can see it come up a couple of inches through the crack in the door, but probably maybe 8 inches, 10 inches off of the ground, the light stops.
It doesn't go any further into the room.
It goes further into the room. If you look underneath the door, it's only about a couple millimeters tall, like maybe 4 or 5 millimeters tall. You can look in there, you see a bunch of papers loose on the floor. And there's a very nice rug on the floor in there and some chairs.
But we can't see what's blocking.
Can't see what's blocking the door.
Are there like legs?
There are legs of chairs further in,
But what about next to the door?
next to the door you can't see what's blocking it from the from the vantage point that you guys have. It's just a
Okay.
very thin gap.
I'll be right back. Since I can see that far in there, I misty step into the room.
Okay. Inside it looks like a library, and it is pretty wrecked. The thing that's blocking the door is one of the massive bookshelves has tipped over onto its side and is basically blocking the door. But if you go and you can basically get to the side of the bookshelf and look back there, the door itself was barred from the inside before the bookshelf had fallen on it. And it does look like there was a kerfluffle in here. The chairs aren't all facing towards the table like they would in a nice formal setting.
Right.
There's papers all over the place. There's a desk over on the wall that leads towards the outside that looks like the doors have been pulled out, and there's things just strewn about the room from it.
Can I go over? Can I kind of push the bookshelf over?
You could certainly try, but it's about twice as tall as our big bookshelf there.
Okay.
So it's like an 8 foot or a 5 foot by 12 foot tall bookshelf. It's a really tall bookshelf.
I'm gonna attempt to try to move it out of the way.
Okay. Go ahead and make a strength check.
One.
It's a really heavy bookshelf. All of the books are still on it. There's like a couple that have fallen to the floor, but for the most part, it's like encyclopedia sets that
Yeah,
have just.
I try to move the bookshelf. It's not moving, so I just investigate the room, and I kind of whisper out. There's a large bookshelf, and then there's a bar across the door. I can't physically move it, so I'll do a quick search of the room, and then
Okay.
hopefully Misty step back to the other side.
Okay. What are you guys doing while he's in there?
I'm gonna tell Wentsu that he should investigate that room next to him.
The other room.
The other side? Okay. I'm checking the other door.
Chicken the door. Chicken the door. Why
You
did
said
I
that
put
door
this
was just a
in-
regular door?
No, screw this. I go over to the bookshelf. I cast Reduce on it.
Okay.
So now it is half the size
Okay.
that it used to be, and like an eighth of its original weight.
All right. Make a reflex save.
Dexterity saving throw?
Yeah, that.
No. That'll be very good. That's going to be a total of 6.
Nice. All right. Wentsu, as you're looking at the door there, you hear this loud, resounding crash from the room that this one apparently disappeared into. As the bookshelf, basically no longer propped up against the other bookshelves on the other side, shrank down, flops forward into the middle of the floor. It thunks as the books all fall out of it, and it's laying face down on the floor.
Okay.
You could probably open one of the doors if you unbar it at this point.
Okay. That's what I do.
Okay.
Seraphina runs over and yells out, Dorian, are you okay? It's Seraphina.
You can reply to this message.
Yes, I shrank the bookshelf so that it could be moved.
Oh my goodness. You are so wonderful.
Thank you. I don't hear that quite often enough.
You should. You really should.
You need books just your size.
Seraphina is not amused.
So Seraphina's whispering through the door. What are you doing, Sylan?
I would be up here, most likely. Just
Is your raven Misty Step with you?
I can.
I didn't know
Sort
Misty
of.
Step could get you under a door.
Well, it
Yes,
just-
I can teleport
it
to any
teleports
spot
you,
that I
yeah.
can see within 30 feet.
With Misty Step, or that's just you?
With Misty Step.
it's a spell. Yeah.
No, you
I have Misty Step.
There you go.
You have Misty Step, or is it Step of the Wind?
I have Misty Step.
Pardon for
Yeah. You basically Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
You make a bamf sound when you do it.
Sucks. I've already used 2 of my second level spells, but it's okay.
Alright. So you've unbarred the door and it's open.
Yeah, I'm assuming that I won't need to make a strength check.
Mm-mm.
We're not gonna have to vox machina this door, right?
Well, if the door's open and it's a library, Sylan is gonna be in
smells
there.
books. Runs back, pushes Wentsu out of the way.
Shove everyone out of
So
the way.
Sylan is also going to investigate the room.
Okay.
Yeah. I will assist Sylan.
You'll assist me.
Okay.
They're busy with that room. I'm gonna start looking.
As a wizard, I am very interested in books.
So assisting. Oh yeah, that's a 23.
Okay. You see much of what I described to him. Loose papers on the floor. The desk has been rifled through. Some of the furniture has been moved from its original spot. The most notable, of course, is the one tiny bookshelf in the room that is now face down on the floor. How long does the reduce spell last? Or is it just until you undo it?
I think it's like a minute or until I undo it. Which I would probably have us try to move it further away from the door.
Get it a better
Yeah,
position.
concentration up to a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get it down, you open the door up, and the party's able to come in. Where are you going to move the bookshelf to?
Is she
Just kind of off to
She'll
the
be in
side.
there with the rest of them.
moving the bookshelf?
Yeah, she'll help move the bookshelf. She just picks it up, moves it over.
Oh shit.
That's right. She's not expecting it to be as light as it is, but the books kind of help because the
So investigating the room, there's nothing outside of it being kind of obvious there was some kind of fight, or there's nothing like interesting to like the situation
the
here.
most interesting thing that you see in the library is that it's a 2-story library. It goes all the way up to the top of the apparent height of the house.
Okay.
There is a tightly wound spiral metal staircase in the corner of the library over on the basically towards close to where Nicole is sitting.
Okay.
That goes up to a second level, and it's banistered around, and it looks like there's another office space up there, and more books on shelves lining the top area. There is a strange humming sound coming from the other office space, but that's it's about the only thing out of the norm here. This is the first part of the house that you guys have seen that looks like anyone or anything has happened here. The rest of it looked like a regular house. So
Yeah.
So we go up to the second level there.
I mean, we could just go up from this side and take a look. Investigate strange humming up there.
Yeah.
No, is it strange? I mean, like.
more like 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 an electrical buzz. You wouldn't know what that is in game, but large power sources. You probably would have heard it coming from the dome in the large church in Arondia that you guys were at. Just a faint kind of sound.
I was just making sure it wasn't a person strangely humming up there.
That'd be creepy.
The Arcana Bros will go up and check it out.
Okay, get up there, wizard bros. As you guys get up to the top of the spiral staircase, you'll have to take it probably distance out a little bit because it is very, very tightly wound so as to take up minimal space. But the office that is up there, if we want to flip to the second map.
You guys are up here?
Here I think, right?
Square one.
Yes. That one. So, let me see, I'm trying to get my bearings here.
Oh, did it come in this little room? In the corner here?
I'm trying to figure out if I just drew the map wrong or how things are lining up. Hang on. Okay. So you guys will come up in that far corner across from those two doors. No, sorry, not the small
Right
room.
here.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
And the desk is basically on this wall for the study space. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can look down over the banister into the middle. There is it looks down into the into the library itself.
Where does the humming seem like it's coming from?
There is something at the desk.
So
So at the desk, the darkness itself is almost impossible to see through at this point, and the source of the darkness appears to be coming actually from the desk. It's a small workspace. At the desk is the crumpled form of a woman. It almost looks like she's resting there, but she's not breathing and doesn't appear to be moving at all. Just above the desk, a few inches from the woman's hand, is an item that almost looks like a picture frame. It's roughly 13 inches by 13 inches, and it's a square, and all of the darkness in the room, in the entire house and area, appears to be emanating from this frame.
Okay.
And let's see. Go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh.
We need to skip to the boss fight. Right, Dorian, whenever.
13.
Seraphina.
9.
Kara.
6.
Wentsu. Dagmar.
Got a 9.
And how many villainous ones? Just
For other, we'll just say 15.
15 of them. Got it.
15 others. Go ahead and get another piece of paper out.
well, with the 15, they go first.
Wow. All right. Both of you make
Please.
makes will saving throws.
What?
Or sorry, Constitution saving throws.
Constitution. Okay. So it's not charm, kind of, or fear, or charm, or.
It's a pulling sensation. Basically, you're trying to resist being pulled towards the.
I'm mainly just double checking for the elf, thing. How you can't be.
Yeah.
Constitution. Oh, that's actually not bad. 23.
Okay. You feel yourself take a step towards the desk. You see him take a step, and he seems almost surprised at it because he's. I mean, you guys are curious about what's on the desk, but going towards unidentified things is generally something you don't send anyone other than the rogue to do first.
This unidentified magical object has a strange pull. I'm really saying it for the people down below.
Sure.
So yeah.
What's up there?
Well, I mean, Dorian, I'm pretty sure knows that.
Okay. So who's next on initiative order?
If that's it, it's actually Dorian.
I don't really want to move closer to there. Do I see any? Is it just the object that's there?
The artifact is the source of the power. On the desk, there's a book that's flipped open with notes written in it that you can't quite read from this distance. There are some sheafs of paper. Distance. But the frame itself is the main focus point of the objects on the desk. Seeing around the desk and even as far as just the person sitting at the desk, it's so dark that you can barely see it at all.
Okay. And
Even
there's
with the
no
dark
windows in here?
Not on this upper level, no. All books.
Alright, I'm not certain as to what to do. I will firebolt the frame.
Okay.
Lack of anything better
Yeah.
to do.
Take that, you dirty frame.
Hit an AC of 19.
Okay. The energy from your attack just seems to into the frame itself. It doesn't come out the other side. It
But
goes into it and disappears.
Does it seem to charge it in any way?
The darkness inside the frame ripples a little bit, but doesn't appear to fluctuate at all.
Okay. And when Dorian is done, it'll be you up next.
Yeah, I don't have anything to really do at this point. Can I try to... I took a step forward, can I just take a step back?
You can use your movement to move back from it.
Okay, I move back.
Okay. All right.
It doesn't
so you go
seem
back
to-
to the stair.
It doesn't seem to have any effect, like stopping him.
He can feel a resistance, but it's not pulling at him hard enough to be able to stop him from moving himself backwards. The save is basically to get you to resist moving forward rather than a gravitational pull.
Alright.
So
Wentsu.
I'm still down the stairs, I'm assuming, but we haven't all been up there yet.
No.
Yell up. What is up there?
A dark mirror.
The source of
lack
the
of a better
foreboding.
term.
Yeah, it seemed like the source of the darkness and foreboding in the house, basically. From what we can tell.
Bad magic?
Yeah, I would say.
Can we stuff it in a bag of holding?
Well, we don't know what it is.
You can certainly try.
I would,
Well, I'm not gonna touch it, I'm just gonna go around it.
well, I mean, if it's
You can still certainly try. It's just a matter of coming up here and doing it.
and also if it happens to be some kind of gateway where it causes a,
That's what I'm asking. Is this gonna be, is it
we don't know what it
We
is
don't
quite
know.
yet. Yeah,
We won't know until you do it.
or until we get a chance to look at it. If any of us really attempt to.
Well, it tried to draw me close to it, so I am actually relatively. I don't want to. I'm concerned about getting too close to it.
Yeah.
okay? Nobody knows what that thing is.
Not yet.
You haven't even seen it yet. You're
I could
downstairs.
identify it.
I'll stay
But
down here
that-
for now.
That would take
Just
a 10 minutes of ritual casting. to
Actually,
do.
are there any other doors up there?
There are doors directly behind us. I'm assuming we're pretty much kind of pressing up against it at this
Mhm.
point.
Yeah.
Staying as far away from the thing as possible.
Because I could go up there and open the doors, at least, unless I get sucked into it.
From the doors, looking at them from this side, they look almost identical to the ones that are at the bottom level of the library.
But either way, what you doing?
Alright.
Yeah, the doors look like the ones down there, from what we can tell.
We can't have a full-on conversation with you because it's only
Yeah.
6 seconds.
Yeah, we kind of.
We've got over our 6 seconds. I'll go up the stairs to the door, which that should be. How far did you say it was?
The second floor, the ceiling heights are about 12 feet, so it'd be 12, 13 feet up.
So half your movement.
And I should be able to make it
The stairs, yeah.
to the door. Okay. So I go up to the door.
That door?
That door. And I'm going to work on opening that door.
Okay. This one's not barred, so you should just be able to push it open.
So I just push it open. Look down the hallway.
It's a big dark hallway. There's a setup in this room. There are windows along that wall that look out into basically the woods surrounding the property. But they're currently curtained off. Again, light comes through them a little bit. Basically, you can see through the gaps in the curtains. But you can't really see. The light, again, seems oppressed. It's not going as far as it should.
So I used my action to open the door. That's I can't do any more actions after that.
Opening the door, if it's not locked or hard to
Shouldn't
open,
really be
it's
a-
not.
Yeah, I think it's the checking for traps basically that would
Yeah.
take the action.
You said there's a window here?
Mhm.
I'm just gonna pull the curtain open.
Okay.
Letting light into the room.
It does let some light in, but the light doesn't come very far in. It maybe reaches just to the door, and it seems far dimmer than you remember it being outside. This light does illuminate the space enough, though, that you can see in that area a couple of art easels basically set up. This was somebody's painting area.
Okay.
Is that Wentsu's?
That's fine.
Dagmar, Seraphina, and Sylan are all going right now.
Dagmar just goes upstairs to see what's going on.
Sylan wants to grab one of his arrows out and throw it at the frame thing and see if the arrow does like the spell does, if it actually like.
Okay. Make a ranged attack.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a 23.
And you're aiming specifically for the frame.
Yes.
It pings off of the frame. The frame wobbles slightly on its axis, and then returns the position that it was at.
Should I roll damage at all? I don't know what an
You can
arrow.
roll damage.
What would it? Just an arrow be?
Just throwing an arrow be an improvised weapon,
So
right?
like D4, or
Maybe.
Let's go with a D4.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
4.
let's face it, it's not really designed to be a
No.
normal weapon.
4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. All right. There's a slight divot in the frame from where the head of your arrow basically hit it, but it did not pierce the frame or seem to disrupt whatever magic it's going on with it in any way.
But, so it absorbed the spell, but it doesn't absorb anything physical, which is mainly what I was trying to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, alright.
Smash.
Then I know what to do next turn. It'll take a long while.
Well,
Seraphina's gonna.
I'm gonna just,
Too.
so
Okay.
there's like a,
Banister that goes around, yeah.
I'm gonna kind of move out of the way of the doorway, and just, yeah.
Okay. The books that you're standing next to are art theory,
Art theory.
art history, art theory books.
So is there anything else around the desk, like maybe a case or something that this mirror was in?
No, but looking at the desk itself, if you where are you at? Seeing the papers and things like that that are on the desk, you would assume that it has been assembled here, because there is diagrams of squares, basically, kind of resemble the dimensions of the frame itself.
Well, Seraphina is just going to watch and see what happens.
Okay. Who's next?
It's Kara's turn now.
Well, since everybody else is going up there, I'm gonna head up there also. So like half, I would.
It's about
half my-
15 feet up, so,
So
We're
I'm gonna
moving.
yeah.
come up and go out the doors and kind of stand in the hallway. Look over this way. Can I hear anything or see anything this way?
It's relatively dark. The hallway is quiet, and you can't quite hear the same humming sound that you could in the library. Straight across from you, there is a door with a small half-moon window, basically a half-circle window towards the top of it. But there's no light coming in through there. It's just a broad hallway. As mentioned before, there's like an art easel, and it's like a tables with like bottles of paint that are capped at the moment, and a little paint tray, the thing where you mix the paints. There's a half-painted picture of a beach scene on one of the easels.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next?
Initiative.
Okay.
Dorian.
6.
Seraphina.
9.
Kara.
9 also.
Wentsu.
21.
Dagmar.
7.
And whatever entity.
21.
Well, the entity and Wentsu are simultaneous.
Okay. Again with the Constitution saving throws, but now it'll be for everyone except Kara. Well, and Wentsu. Wentsu's probably fine. He's outside the door.
19.
Natural 1.
Nice.
Oh no.
So you'll move a full 5 feet towards the frame.
Like over the banister and fall 15 feet?
No, the paths of least resistance, basically, towards
Dagmar
the frame.
is in, like, if he moves 5 feet.
Shit. Dagmar will also be moving 5 feet, so...
They both just simultaneously step up.
It's a strange feeling that you may or may not have felt in your homeland, but it almost feels like something is pulling at your life force. Like something has sensed your living spirit, your spark, and is pulling it towards the frame. And that is what's moving you towards it.
Okay.
Did you pass?
9.
All right, 5 feet.
I'm assuming the quickest for me is going to start moving around that way.
Yeah. Seraphina is fine. Just, where's everybody going? Kara is admiring the beach scene. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Wentsu, we didn't have to save it all either. So
Yep,
you said
Wentsu's-
Wentsu went Simo?
Yes, it's Wentsu's turn.
thing's working right. Not much I can do. How far away is the paint?
It's basically tucked onto a, you see where the corner dips in?
Right here?
Yeah, there's a small work table there. The different pots of paint and brushes on it. And some mucky paint water bottles.
Like little tiny bottles of paint, or are they like decent size?
There's a whole bunch of different shades and colors, but they're about the size of a coffee cup. Some are a bit smaller.
Are they glass?
Yes, there would be thinner glass than what a potion vial would come into, but they're still rather sturdy, and they've just got large corks basically into the top of them.
Gotta pick up a couple of those.
Okay, what colors do you take?
What's a bird's favorite color?
Can he see the
I'm
colors?
saying, that's a question. I don't know. I just pick up whatever's lightest looking colors.
Okay. There's like a sandy beach color and yellow for the sunset. So.
So I grab those two colors. And back to here. And inside the door. I can't really get it. I don't think I could throw these from here though.
It's only, what, 15 feet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
not
very
that
far.
far.
Okay, I'm gonna throw these at the.
Do you uncork them first?
I do uncork them, and then I throw both paint bottles at this thing to try to cover it in paint.
Okay, go for it. Roll a dexterity or ranged. I'm not gonna say you're proficient in bottle chucking though. So.
So just add your dex.
Just add my dex.
Yeah.
Nope. 11.
That's
All right.
You threw two.
Oh,
So.
okay. 11.
But also might not, it's not moving and it's an object, so it might.
I can't see it. Kitty, kitty. Watch out. I roll my chair. She's like, I need my
No
rolling
survival
wheels.
instincts on that one either.
I know.
And 21.
All right.
11 and 12.
So the 11 spatters all across the desk. There's paint all over the notes now, and spatters up onto the face of the woman that's laying there. Some flecks of that one get up onto the frame itself. Anything that touches the center of the frame disappears. You can't see where it goes. The second bottle clips right at the top of the frame and basically dumps paint all across the frame, and the rest of the paint drips. And it drips, it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. It drips, it goes about halfway through the frame, then
It's a portal. I know that much now.
he didn't even make a knowledge arcana check. He
I
threw
can-
some fucking paint at it.
I can not stick that inside my bag of holding. Just letting you guys know that.
I am so glad you came to that conclusion on your own.
That's what I was trying to check with the arrow, but I guess it just hit the frame. I was trying to hit the center.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, so John's okay with me killing your guys' characters if it comes to it, but I don't know how he would feel about a black hole in his fucking world. That might be a different thing.
usually it just dissipates though, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
it's a...
It's a radius, yeah.
And
But
then it
you
goes
have
away.
to do the
Instantaneous
math.
effect. It's
Yeah.
Alright, well, that was Wentsu. If he's not doing anything else, it's Sylan after that. So seeing all this happen, do I know anything about what this could be?
Make a knowledge arcana check.
10.
Looks like a portal.
Yeah.
And that's just what you're getting from the same information that he has, that
Yeah.
nothing in the middle is staying in the middle.
That's a corner.
Yeah, and is there nothing on the books that I can see looks like it appears to have anything to do with this?
Not now. Before you could see diagrams and like chicken scratch notes basically about building and designing the frame, but not necessarily the properties of the frame.
Alright, I'm gonna take a risk here. I'm gonna actually. What's the range on that? Actually, do I have 10 feet. So I'm gonna get within 10 feet of it.
Okay.
Where exactly is it located in here right now?
2 squares in on the center blue line. So,
Here?
Straws.
so you see where Dagmar's base is?
Yeah.
And she's got so take the line in an inch and back towards the wall.
This one?
Yep.
Here's the desk.
So it's it's on that desk.
So I'm gonna move here.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation and clean up the notes. Since the paint should still be wet and easily to clean, right? With magic?
What do you do with the paint?
Back on the Birdman.
Just on the floor.
Okay. He ruins a perfectly good rug, but he manages to get the paint off of the book.
So that's my action.
Okay.
After Sylan, it is Kara and Seraphina simultaneously. Suppose some of us could try exploring the rest of the house.
I'm gonna go see
but
what's in this room.
see if there's actually anything else in this.
Maybe not.
Turn back!
All right.
Whoa.
So, relatively plain door. It kind of looks similar to the door that was downstairs across from the double doors. Are you going to
I'm
check
gonna open it.
You're gonna open it? Yep. You open the door. There's no bell. It doesn't appear to make any sounds. Looking in here, you would guess that this is a children's room. There are 3 small beds spaced out across the arch of the wall. Remembering the outside of the house, there were towers, basically off the sides of the house, and looks like it's the upper level of one of the towers. So on that curved wall, there's 3 beds, trunks at the base of each bed, and a nightstands with each. But the beds are unmade and empty.
Okay. Anything else in the room? Any windows?
There's some toys, a small bookshelf over in the other corner, and a door leading into what you assume is a closet.
Do I still have movement to go to the closet? Or is that my turn?
You only
No,
move
you still
4
have movement.
squares, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. So I'm gonna go check out the closet.
Okay.
And you haven't actually used an action yet either, so.
What did you said you summoned your orb as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you open up the closet itself, it's relatively dark in there until you bring the orb over. There's rods with clothing hanging on them, but you can't see what's beyond the clothing that's hanging there.
But it looks like a deep closet.
It's a relatively big closet, yeah. It's a full-size walk-in closet. The clothing hanging up on the bars, and then there is 2 trunks on either end.
I may or may not tell Wentsu about these trunks.
Yeah, looking at all of the clothes, they're definitely small people clothes.
Toy boxes. Alright, so how many did I go before?
4.
So let's see, what are you here?
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You still have basically 10 feet, 2 more squares to go.
Okay, I'll make my way back towards the
Okay.
room.
One thing that you do notice once you open the closet, and at first you wrote it off as just being part of the chill from the outside, but like coming from the stones, because you haven't seen any lights or any fire in the house at all. The closet seems unnaturally cold.
Did you still want to move back?
No, I guess not. I'll take a couple steps into the closet.
Alright. You see something behind one of the chests on the far back wall.
Back here?
Yeah.
What is it?
You can't quite tell. There's something shiny back there, but the darkness it's shrouded enough with the clothes that hang down and the chest there. It's just something that you see that it looks like there's a space behind the trunk. The other trunk was basically shoved up against the wall, but this one looks so good moved forward a little bit.
I'll just ready my fists.
Who is after Kara?
It's Seraphina's as well, Simon.
Okay.
So Seraphina is going to move forward.
She fell.
Yeah, there's an empty space in the middle there. Sorry, I probably should have marked it.
And she's going to take her bedroll out of her pack and she's going to try and toss it on
And
top of the mirror to
Cover
cover it.
To cover it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like a Eye of Sauron thing.
Don't let it see. The blanket basically goes over and it flips onto the frame. There doesn't appear to be any effect from the back side, but the front side of it, it's almost like it's as soon as it touches that middle part, it goes just like the paint. It starts pulling it in. The frame wobbles a little bit as it basically drags the blanket over the edge and through the middle of it, and then your blanket goes and it's gone.
It's okay. It wasn't a blanket of Hello Cozies here.
That would have been a true loss.
Just make sure you mark off that you no longer have a bed.
Yeah.
You will be cold tonight if you do not find another blanket before you leave the building.
You can snuggle
I'll
me.
snuggle with
There you
someone.
go.
Actually,
Like Dorian.
Hey, Dorian, looks so cold.
You see that spell he used to make the bookshelf smaller? He can make other things bigger with it.
That's not wrong. I don't know how it works on living things, but just saying. So who was after Seraphina and Kara?
Okay, it's Dagmar.
Dagmar is just going to have her longswords out at the ready and leave this nonsense to the mages because she doesn't know.
So where she wants to move, because she's in, like, basically closest to it right now.
She's gonna stay where she's at. She doesn't want people trying to get like too close to it, but doesn't want to get closer to it herself either. So.
Okay.
She's supposed to be inconveniently in the way.
And last but probably not least, it's Dorian.
Alright.
I look at you and be like, may I borrow one of your swords?
Sure.
Take it, walk over
Just
to
bought
the
them,
frame,
so like.
and I try to bash the frame with the sword and see if I can. It was apparently assembled. You said that there are diagrams for it to have been assembled. I want to see if it can be disassembled.
Sure. As soon as the sword touches the frame wobbles again because it's been affected by an outside force, but there is an immediate reaction. All of the darkness and everything that you guys have felt and experienced since even just coming into the woods of the house all seems to suck into the frame, and for just a second you basically reach to pull back with the sword in order to strike it again. All of the darkness bursts out of the frame again, and a clawed hand reaches out of the frame, gripping the edges as it basically pulls itself through the frame from the other side.
Is it covered in paint?
And a blanket.
You use the blanket to wipe the paint off, it's fine.
Stop throwing shit in here. I live here.
My hands!
This isn't trash can, people.
Yeah, right.
Is it Oscar the Grouch coming out?
No, it's grouchy, I'm sure.
That is for sure. The darkness itself seems to, it is all the more darker in here now, and the further that the creature comes out of the frame, the darker it seems to get. It's billowing out, like smoke pouring out of the frame itself. Who's always next?
Initiative. Yeah.
I only need 2 initiatives.
As a bonus
this round.
action, I give the sword back to Dagmar.
Oh shit! And toss it.
Okay.
Alright, Dorian.
16.
Seraphina.
5.
Kara.
7.
Wentsu.
11.
Dagmar.
22.
And how do you want these separated?
Just 2 separate initiatives. The
one that we have been doing, what's that one?
Mark that one as the frame,
Where are you going?
Right, okay.
and then the other one can be the Shadow Beast.
And what is their actual scores right now?
11 for the Beast and 22 for the frame.
Okay. Well, it'll be the Frame and Dagmar simultaneously to start off the round.
Okay. So the frame itself, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Dagmar will be 6.
Kara is nowhere near us. Does that matter?
No, you are correct. That does matter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll just go back around 5, 6, 2. So Sylan. So next to Sylan, a
How's that?
tendril. That was my foot on the plastic of the chair. Sorry. One of the tendrils pops up.
I've seen this movie.
One will pop up next to Wentsu, over next to the door, coming out from the corner.
This one?
Right here. I seen it too. It's called Maniac Mansion though.
And then
That's the purple.
another one will pop up just behind Seraphina and Sylan. Now, these are not actually purple, but the shadows encasing the room just seem to lash out and try to grab hold of whoever is nearest to them. So we need to make some rolls here.
I feel like I'm in the Disney house.
You are.
Alright, so it is going to attempt to grapple each of the people that it is next to. So we'll have one for Seraphina, one for Sylan, and one for Wentsu. Wentsu, let's see here.
Athletics.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. Let's see. Oh, okay.
Do I have to roll too?
Yes, you would roll acrobatics or athletics.
Whichever.
Okay.
This is just a grapple, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can choose whichever he wants.
I can choose.
Yep.
No, I'll go back to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a matter of whether you're trying to wiggle out or trying to
I
muscle.
rolled a 20, so.
Natural 20?
28.
Nice.
Okay.
I
So
like this.
you slap the tentacle away and it isn't able to grab hold of you. Let's see. I feel like I'm doing this wrong.
Get out my Kool-Aid.
Oh, the escape DC. Okay. Next one it's going to attack is Seraphina. It's going to try and slap at you with one of its tentacles. 25 to hit.
It hits.
Hit. Okay. 8 points of bludgeoning damage. And then go ahead and make a acrobatics or athletics check to avoid being grappled. I did it in the wrong order, basically.
So 24.
Okay. So the shadow slaps out at you and it lands a blow on your arm. She will try and break that much out. But it isn't able to hold on to your arm itself just because you are so much smaller than I was expecting. Sylan, 21 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. And then 12 points of damage and make a DC 15 check to
Just bludgeoning? Or?
yeah, it's just bludgeoning damage as it whacks onto you.
I fail the check.
Okay. So the tentacle basically wraps around you and then it almost seems to expand to encase you. So you are currently grappled and trapped in the darkness.
How much was the damage again?
12 points of damage. Gotta do some damage roll.
I want that one to work.
No.
Want this one?
That's fine, I'll just trap. I have others.
Okay, so that is the frame. Who was Simon with the frame?
Dagmar.
Dagmar. Okay, seeing the thing come out of the darkness behind her, she is going to swing a sword at it. I already complained about this once. Didn't have enough d20s. Well, one's a crit. And 26. And 12. So that one will hit. Eight. 16 points of damage to that tentacle. Hey? Oh. Okay.
The bridge.
So who's after Dagmar?
After Dagmar, it is Sylan. So I'm currently grappled.
Mm-hmm.
So if I tried to cast a spell, I'd have disadvantage on the attack, especially because I'm right next to someone. Anyway, let's see, what do I have currently?
Unless you want to Misty Step out of it as a
Yeah,
bonus action.
I don't know what it is, but it's something.
that Misty Step is a bonus action.
It's a
I'll probably do that. I'm gonna Misty Step over here.
Okay.
And then I am going to Eldritch Blast the one in front of Seraphina.
Okay.
That is a 26.
To hit, that definitely hits.
That is 5 force and 2 cold, so 7 altogether.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's definitely still standing, so I'm going to use my send my second Eldritch Blast the same way. 15.
15 hits.
And another 15 damage altogether. I don't know if cold matters. I'm assuming not.
It does not have. It does not appear to have any extra effect on it. No.
Okay. And that is Sylan's turn. So after Sylan, sorry, it is Dorian. I can't
Alright, so
English is hard. It's fine.
alright, so okay, is it just the tentacles or is there still a creature coming out of the
They appear to be separate entities. So the
Alright.
creature coming out of the frame would be fully merged on its turn.
Alright, I am going to use Scorching Ray on the thing coming out of the frame.
Okay. Go ahead and make your. Is that one?
Attack rolls.
Yeah, that one's attack rolls. That's right.
So first ray it hits an AC of 20.
That will hit. Yes.
Second ray
How
will
much-
hit an AC of 21.
That is also a hit.
Oh wait, no, that's
19.
not right. 19.
How much damage did you do to the one that you were shooting at? Total.
Total, my first was I think it was 9 and then 17, 20.
So more than 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one that you were shooting at will dissipate.
Which one?
The one in Miss Seraphina.
Sorry, I was reading something wrong. All right, your scorching ray.
So the first one was
They both hit. I remember that much.
okay, and then the third ray, well, that will also hit that. So 6d6 fire damage.
Dang, stop chewing on things.
10, 20, 25. 25 points of fire damage to the creature coming out of the frame.
You said 22?
25.
25.
I have a really short attention span. Sorry.
When you created
So you roll a 20-sided dice and then you add
I didn't do
that.
enough damage now.
Yeah.
And I'll take a step back also.
This way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did forget to double my crit damage, but that's okay.
Would you have actually killed it outright? Because I think you did.
Probably, but yeah, we can dissipate that one because it's only 4 points from dissipating.
Alright,
If you
so
killed it, I would imagine with the crit you should have killed that one. Or close to it.
I totally forgot to double the damage on it.
so the next is Wentsu and the Shadow Beast thing at the same time.
Okay. I feel like I should have picked a different. Get out of the water bowl! Jesus.
Ignore her.
Sorry, it's just stuck. This is a much bigger miniature than I was planning on using, but I didn't have anything else to represent it. So if you could just stick that so that it's just barely over the edge of into the room.
Right there.
I do not currently have a large shadow elemental miniature, so please accept this as a stand-in proxy. And the creature, as it emerges from the portal, is going to take a swipe at the nearest.
So should it just
Your
be in the
target.
middle of the room?
If it'll fit, I'm worried about the base size thing.
Because it right now it's like in a wall in another room.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
I should have looked at Gabby's for a better mini.
There you go.
It's
Well, were you going for huge or large?
It is large. I know, right? I couldn't find anything that was any closer approximation of what I was looking
I
for.
have.
What about
That's
that
a seal.
tentacle looking thing right there?
We're carrying
Next to
the
the
road.
blue thing.
This? I don't know.
No, the other one next to the blue thing.
The blue one?
No, next to it, the black.
On the right, black. It looks like a dragon type.
Teach?
Yeah.
With the right size base?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can use that instead.
I mean,
It's pokey. It's pokey. Watch out.
And it's dark.
Yeah.
It's scary.
that works.
I have smaller elementals somewhere.
Yeah, that didn't look for him very hard. Sorry. Okay, but it comes out and it will make an attack. One of its massive shadowy arms will basically come down, and it will attack.
It looks like it can get Dorian and Dagmar
Okay.
are both within range.
It will go for Dorian first because it was attacking its. It was the
Attack.
first thing it saw coming out.
And it just got Scorching Ray at it.
Yeah. 18.
That would normally hit, but I'm going to use a reaction to cast Shield,
Okay.
which raises my AC by 5.
Nice.
So basically, I deflect the attack with my shield.
Okay. The shadow kind of pools out across the radius of your shield. And, you don't see any eyes on the creature, but you feel as if you are receiving a dirty look. right
Dirty
now.
looks. Got it. It uses dirty look. Mean look.
It's not very
You can no longer
effective.
flee from battle.
Wentsu, did you go?
And not yet. I was just gonna see if it was done doing its thing.
Yes.
So Wentsu.
I can't get.
I attack the darkness.
I can't attack it from there because I'm.
You can go to the side right here.
That's
That's a
empty
hole.
space.
I mean,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about right here?
No, but I can travel through friendly targets without any.
You could come around this way too.
Yeah. So does that mean I can go through you guys to here? So here's the question though. The frame is here still?
Yes, the frame is still on the desk.
I'm gonna attack the frame.
Okay. What are you attacking with?
A dagger.
Dagger, dagger, dagger?
It's a magical
It's a
one.
magical dagger.
Okay.
Slayer's Talon dagger. This one.
Okay.
And
It could have a low AC, so
12.
12. Gonna go with a miss.
Okay. Cool.
alright. Is Wentsu doing anything else?
No, because I mean I have my uncanny dodge and stuff, but that's.
Now that you're
Alright.
closer to the frame, you can see it's a 13-inch square. Each side is 13 inches. The frame itself is made from ebon wood. It's a really rare, just dark wood. It's not stained or anything, but it is sealed. And there are 8 gemstones on the frame itself. 4 of them are in are basically socketed into gold casings on the back side on each of the 4 corners, and then there is 1 gem in the middle on each side of the frame. They are moonstone, malachite, garnet, and aquamarine. The 4 stones on the edges, you would need to make a knowledge arcana check to be able to identify.
Okay.
You don't recognize the stone right off the bat. It's not your typical shiny.
It's definitely coming.
Alright. Kara.
So we didn't see the gems before this whole time we've been looking at it. But
They're relatively small. You'd have to be pretty close to the frame.
Like close enough to hit it with a sword.
With a longsword? Yeah, probably. This is why John is the DM.
Right, well Kara, you're in a closet.
Yep.
Can I hear anything that's going on?
I haven't particularly heard anyone cry out loudly yet, but
Why did I? When he came out.
oh, okay.
Did you?
Wentsu squawks.
Did you?
I did, but I was.
Did I hear Wentsu squawk?
Go ahead and make a perception check. I don't think he was being sneaky, so. Yeah, you definitely heard something. There are enough non-noises in the house that anything that loud would stand out to you. So you hear a vaguely bird-like squawk from the other room.
So if I dash, I could potentially make it back.
If you want to turn your back on whatever you're looking at.
Yeah, you could try and grab that real quick and then just make your way back.
I'm not grabbing it.
Depending on how ingrained it is, it won't take an action to do it, so you'd only lose out on like a...
Unless it's a creature, in which case...
I have a feeling the shiny thing are eyes.
Alright.
That's just my
Yeah, I don't
opinion
really
on
want
what
to turn
we're
my back
doing.
on it, so I'll step closer and investigate whatever's shiny behind the chest.
Okay. You have just a moment to see that it's a dagger, but it's a very finely polished dagger, and it's clutched in the hand of a small child's hand, before a blast of energy comes forth from the area behind the chest, and you see this come forth.
Sweet.
And that form basically hovers above the above the chest that the children, the form was hidden behind, and it screams in your face. It doesn't hit you, but you do feel a whoosh of energy blast past you. Basically, it's this ethereal form. At this point, unshaped, just hovering. Basically, it looks like it's almost forming into a shape, but it's not there yet. Attempts to push you back away from the area that you are approaching.
I'm gonna try and punch it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have magical gauntlets, so that usually allows you to deal with stuff like that better anyway.
Yeah, I'll try and punch it.
Okay, go ahead and roll the hit.
Sure.
You have the gloves are magical, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
26 and 23.
Those will both hit.
Okay.
So damage immunity means it would take no damage from that school of.
Right. Okay.
So these are just my regular hands, though, not my necrotic.
So
I
you're
still
just
have-
punching it with.
What's that?
Well, the D8s are necrotic.
Yeah, the
The
D8.
D8s are necrotic.
Yeah.
Okay, so 11, 19. So 19 regular and 14 necrotic.
Okay. The other thing that you hit with the necrotic damage seemed to have it had an effect. There was like a slight darkening around the area where you punched. You don't see that has the effect here, and you're not sure if it's because the form is incorporeal or if the extra damage, the magic, is just not the same effect as on this type of being.
Did it seem to hurt it at all, though?
It did take damage, basically. So what was your d6s?
19.
19 points of damage? Okay. So basically you punch it and those parts just basically dissipate around it, so your fist almost goes through the ghost figure. When you pull back out, the form just coalesces back into it. It does look like you've hit it and hurt it, but it's not as effective as your other punches have been.
You can spend a key point and do it again.
Okay.
2 more. I'm gonna miss 13 and 15.
Those will both hit.
Oh, okay. So 16 regular damage.
Okay.
And then 9 necrotic. This is it.
You said 9 necrotic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. The form grows wispier, and as it's trying to reform, but it's gonna have to wait for its turn, obviously. But you can hear a faint whisper coming from the form that says, "Stay away from them. Go away." Who's next?
Seraphina.
Seraphina. So Seraphina is going to say, "You rotten son of a bitch," and she's going to shoot her crossbow at the big shadow beastie.
Okay.
21.
It's a hit.
Okay.
That will hit.
So 9 damage.
Okay. Is your crossbow magical?
It's a +1.
So +1.
Awesome.
And so I have a bonus action, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. So then I'm going to say Zavos, and I'm going to send my dancing rapier at the little tentacle.
Okay. Which color would you like to represent your rapier? I don't have purple. I'm so sorry.
I guess blue is fine.
Stick that up there.
Say that
So-
at the
The,
Creature at the
the
tentacle.
tentacle.
at the tentacle.
So 20.
That'll hit.
The rapier is an 8-sided. D8. Dice 8.
That's better.
Mhm.
13.
13 points of damage.
Yes.
Yep.
13 piercing.
13 piercing.
Piercing. All right. And who is?
It's initiative after that.
Sugar.
That's pretty good. Dorian.
17.
Seraphina. 12. Kara.
13.
Wentsu.
25.
Dagmar.
Dagmar got a 7.
Frame.
Frame got a 7.
And Shadow Beastie.
Shadow BC got a 5. And then can you add one more initiative for me, please?
Okay, yep.
It'll be
Floating guy.
floating guy will go on a 12.
Alright. Well, Wentsu with his 25 goes first.
So Wentsu will try to attack the frame again.
Okay.
One more time.
Let's see if it actually does anything.
And he missed the frame again. 12.
The dice are so loud and angry.
Okay. He's angry. You can roll one good roll and then rolls like 3 or 4 shitty rolls right
Great
after.
initiative, and then you.
Do you have another weapon? You could always offhand bonus action attack it. Like, it wouldn't be your magical dagger, but you could try.
Maybe the regular dagger.
Yeah,
Stabby rip stab stab.
sure.
And you still got sneak attack if you hit, because you haven't hit anything yet.
Sneak attack a frame.
Yeah, sneak attack the frame.
Well, I mean, it has no idea.
Well, that's, so that'd be,
16?
yeah, so it's 25. No,
No, 23.
3. Yeah. 23 to hit.
That will hit.
So it wouldn't actually be sneak attack, because there's... But,
There are no weak points per se on, like,
yeah, and there's
Yeah,
no...
it's not a living thing.
Yeah. There's actually no one standing next to it either, so...
10 points of damage.
okay.
8 points damage.
Alright, so the part of the frame that you hit, you see the frame crack just slightly, and you would think that the shadowy form would fill up into it, but it doesn't. You do see that, so the crack stays fine, you can see right through it just to the other side of the wall. The large shadow beast and the tentacles each flicker slightly, but they don't dissipate.
Alright. It's gonna be Sylan's turn. And he is just going to... Now the Shadow Beast, it's not undead, right? That it looks like...
It is not undead.
Okay. I am just going to... So I'm gonna Eldritch Blast the tentacle first. Get it out of the way.
Okay.
It'll be a 17 to hit for the first one.
That will hit.
15 points of damage total on it.
Okay, and that's the one that Seraphina had already hit.
Yeah.
So that tentacle will dissipate.
Okay. And I've got one more Eldritch Blast, so I'm going to send it towards the Shadow Beast.
Okay.
Her sword is still there.
What's that?
That's sort of the same thing.
Just the thing.
Yeah. 26 to hit total on the Shadow Beast.
On the big beast, that'll
Yeah.
hit.
Right. Fuck. Double 1. 5 force and 1 cold. For
Alright.
6 total.
Alright.
Yeah. And that's all Sylan's doing, so that brings it to Dorian.
Alright. Why is everybody in this room?
I know.
What are the point?
You know what Sylan really wants to do? Shatter.
That's okay. I want to use my fireball. Are you
Dude, I'll be roasted.
randomly in the room?
Dorian is so upset with all of you.
Did they not notice
You
that,
invited
that
us
they
here, man.
flickered when I hit the mirror? Or
The fireball would hit everything,
It
including
is dark
the
enough
mirror.
in here that it could have been taken as just a shifting of the light. You were specifically looking for an effect from having hit the frame.
Yeah. I know. Just was curious if it was
Alright, so I am going to, because I am in base contact with this thing, I'm going to expend a second level spell slot to cast Misty Step to go to just outside the door there.
Right there?
Yeah. So that's that. And then I am going to firebolt the thing and then say, next round I'm using a fireball in that room. Anybody in there, you're on your own. Hey, it gives you guys a full round to get the fuck out of there.
Unless he
Yeah,
rolls a
unless you
natural
roll.
20 on his initiative.
I can hold an action.
But with your alignment, would you?
Yes, I would.
I gave them half a second.
But, so does a 15 hit it, the
Yes.
big creature? Alright, so... So 16 points of fire damage.
Okay. As the fire damage, as the bolts slam into its form, the darkness dissipates just slightly and then engulfs the light that came from the flames. They poof out. It does appear to have been injured. Again, it uses dirty luck.
Seraphina.
Nick will say if you were subjected to Merface. Oh.
So, Seraphina is going to shoot at the Shadow Beast again with her crossbow. So, 19.
That will hit.
And 6 points of damage.
Okay.
You're gonna move your sword up.
Yes.
Are you going to move yourself out?
She's going to scamper out.
And you can still attack with the sword too.
And she's going to use her. She falls over.
Yeah.
She's gonna brush herself off and swing her sword at the Shadow Beast.
Dancing sword.
Yep. So that's 17.
To hit, that'll hit.
10 points of damage.
Okay. Alright, who's next?
After that, it is Kara.
You're fighting a little far from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it. One more to do it.
And it's actually going to be what Kara's fighting next. So.
Alright, so I crit it,
Nice.
There.
and then that's a 26, and that's 25. So,
Those definitely hit.
okay, so purple is correct. So double the dice, right?
Yep.
So 4, it's 9, 14, 23 points of damage, regular damage, and then blood damage, and then
Another
11.
13.
Hmm?
You double the necrotic on that one as well.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, so 13 necrotic.
Okay. And then how much was the bludgeoning?
23.
Okay. So the form of the ghost will dissipate, and in its place stands a small boy.
Is he alive?
He is completely see-through, so you're gonna go with no.
Okay.
And you said it was the ghost's turn next?
Yes.
Okay. So the
Unless
boy
Kara has anything else she has.
wants to do, yeah.
Wants to do.
Well, she already took 3 attacks, so.
Right, but she can
So
try
she-
moving.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to her. Like she used to run.
She does a
action.
barrel roll.
No. Just stay there.
Okay. The boy's hand lashes out and grabs hold of your wrist. You get that. The other side, sorry.
This side?
I'm not really good at giving directions. Read the top of the front page. There you go.
Oh. Alright. This is Vinaldi. The
Oh,
night.
no. It's for you to know.
Me?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the other ones aren't there. Who's next?
It is Dagmar and the Frame simultaneously.
Okay, so there are 3 people left in the room, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 1, 2 for Wentsu, 3, 4 for Dagmar, and 5, 6 for
Sylan.
Sylan. We have 2 on Wentsu and 1 on Sylan.
Okay, so there's only one space by Wentsu.
Okay, it will.
Other side of
My Sylan. there you go.
Dagmar.
Yeah, and then just line the next one up as close as they can get to. Yeah, that works.
Okay.
And the tentacles will lash out and attack. The darkness that was dissipated last round from being attacked by various weapons and spells seems to coalesce again, regather itself, and lash out to attack. So the one on Wentsu will miss, so you don't need to make a grapple check. The one on Dagmar will also miss, 11. And then Sylan, 17 to hit.
Yeah, that hits, because I don't have the
Because
+2
ow.
necklace anymore, so I don't have the 18 with mage armor. That's not, I didn't update that, yeah.
So 13 points of bludgeoning damage, and then a DC 15.
I'm grappled again.
Okay.
So how much damage again, sorry?
13 bludgeoning
13.
as the tentacle reaches out of the darkness and wraps all around him.
I've seen this anime before. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
Only if he opens his mouth. So that was all 3 of that was the
tentacle.
frame. So
Dagmar is up.
And we know it has to take a round to tear off the underwear.
Yeah.
Okay. This new mage that they've just met is threatening to blow up the room, which she's kind of okay with because there's some shit going down in here. But she doesn't want to leave anybody behind. So she will attempt to reach past the shadow tendril and pull Wentsu out of the corner. So
But I'm doing something.
let's see.
You can oppose it.
Yeah, it's just a grapple check on her part. She's going to try and pull you out of there.
Tentacles in the way too, though, isn't it?
How would that work?
Forced
You
movement
aren't in base contact with it, so. Or with it.
with it,
With
yeah.
him?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can't actually reach him.
So she will take an attack on the tentacle then.
The one by Wentsu.
Yeah, the one between her and Wentsu.
Okay.
So she will take 2 attacks at it. One is a natural 20. Okay, cool. So 20 and 28 to hit.
But you could use second or your not
Not
second one. What's the other ability?
Action surge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
action surge to.
To grapple. The red is the crit.
So 2.
Yeah, right. So 2 plus 4, so 6, and then the other one is 11, so 17 points of damage to that one. She will take her 3rd attack on it because it hasn't dissipated yet. That's her bonus actions. 18 will hit. And 9 more points of damage, so it beats 20. So that tentacle will dissipate. She's going to step into the square next to Wentsu.
She's gonna take
So
an
it's going
attack
to take
of
an opportunity, right, from the
it.
Yeah.
other tentacle. 17, which will hit.
But she won't be able to grab him because she's used her action.
Yeah.
So we still
Unless
have to
she
get back.
action surge.
Yeah, I have the action.
She is a
That's
fighter.
right, she did.
T.
Did.
So you're gonna be able to get back for the other tentacle?
Hmm?
We have another
Oh,
tentacle.
no, we'll see. Right now she's being
Say-
slapped with a tentacle, though.
Wentsu's just looking at you going, clear the path if you're gonna make us run
It's
out
gonna
of
be
here.
funny if she gets grappled and can't even move.
7. So it does 7 points of damage to her,
Of course, it does low damage to the fighter, and it's
right?
already taken like 2/3 of Sylan's health off.
I rolled 2, so sorry.
Eat all of you.
And then DC 15 athletics to avoid being grappled. She's grappled. Nice. She got a 14. So she goes to like rush towards Wentsu to get him out of there, and the tentacle like, nope. That is Dagmar's turn.
Alright, after Dagmar, it's the big shadow elemental beast thing.
All right. The shadow beast is going to turn on Wentsu and attack him for attacking his frame. Let's see.
Well, you've got your reaction to,
Yeah, so I have my uncanny dodge.
yeah,
So I can have that plus.
if it even hits you.
13.
Nope.
The 13 doesn't hit, the other one won't. Let's see.
Ringu.
Ringu. Those are its 2 attacks, and it is finished.
Alright, it's the initiative again after that. Dorian.
11.
Okay.
Oh,
Seraphina.
sorry, that's not true. That's an
8.
Yeah.
Okay. Kara.
21.
Wentsu.
18.
Dagmar.
18.
Frame first.
Frame would be 12.
Shadow beast.
8.
And is the ghosting hostile?
No, once it's reached out and touched Kara, it dissipates.
Okay. So, Kara is first.
So, do I see anything beyond the chest now that that thing is gone?
Behind the chest, you see the bodies of 2 children, roughly 10, 12 years old, preteens. And behind them is a even smaller body, around 4 years old.
Alright. So after he touched me, like kind of like I saw it.
Yeah, there was like a
vision or
flash
a-
of visions that
Okay.
conveyed that information to you.
So I'm just gonna leave the closet.
And head back that way.
Yeah.
So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So that's your regular movement.
So can I dash?
You can dash, so you can use your action to move another 40. Where do you want to try and end up?
Just
As you 5, 10, 15, 20. You can basically get anywhere in here.
probably just right back here. Just kind of go and assess and see what's going on.
And you can talk a little bit if you have anything you want to say. Okay. I am really not happy that that tentacle is there right now. Is there space to move around that tentacle at all?
You could attempt to move through it if you wanted to make the, just basically avoid the grapple check again. It's
No,
not.
I'm grappled.
Oh, you're grappled, so
That's
you.
right.
You still have a Misty Step left.
I know, but I was hoping to move here, be far enough away that I could shatter now that the room's cleared, and then Misty Step. Actually, no, I wouldn't have been able to do that because I've already used one of my spell slots. Never mind. Yeah, I'm just gonna Misty Step out of the room.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna Eldritch Blast the big shadow beast.
Okay. That's Done a lot of misty stepping tonight.
Yeah.
It's a really handy spell.
So that's a 20 on the first one, which I know hits.
That's definitely a hit,
I'm just
yeah.
going to roll my second one now. Natural 20 on the second one. I'm going to do them in the order. So regular non-crit first, which I'm glad I did. 9 points of damage total.
Okay. And then
this,
the crit.
and this one will be doubled. Not bad. 14 and 8, 22, 26.
Yes.
Then after that, it is Wentsu and Dagmar simultaneously.
Right.
You're grappled, aren't you?
I am currently grappled. So she will attempt to break out of the grapple. She
Fail.
She will fail.
She's like hugging on it now.
Right. Can you attack something that's grappling you?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to attack it.
Is it an action to break the grapple though?
Yes.
So if I can't use.
You could use your action.
I can use my second attack.
You can use your No, you
Yeah.
can only use your bonus action to
Because
attack
a
if
fight
you
does
attack.
2 attacks.
2 attacks per action.
Okay. So yeah, she will action.
Oh yeah, Seraphina goes at the same time as well. Sorry.
Okay. And she will action surge, and she will attack it with her swords. That is 2 hits. Yes, it's 15. 5 and 9. 14 more points of damage. So that tentacle will dissipate.
Which one?
The one.
Oh, the one that
Dagmar.
grappled you.
Yeah.
And because you haven't actually used the bonus action yet, you can still use a bonus action.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any bonus actions. Oh, no, action surge is not a bonus action.
No, but
But you can still use your bonus action.
Yeah.
because you have one.
Okay. What are you doing? We have to go. He's gonna blow us up.
I know. I can hit this thing and run out.
She throws her hands up and runs out into the hall.
So Wentsu's gonna attempt to hit the frame again.
Okay. Go ahead and roll the hit.
1. It is a 1. I'm gonna roll the second
fell
one. That would be my.
if you use your bonus action, you could. Yeah, you can't do your.
Yeah, you won't be able to disengage.
You won't really take action disengage to.
Oh, that sucks. So I'm out.
Disengaging and running.
The frame does not take an attack of opportunity on you.
Well, you bonus
Can't
action
anyway 'cause I have a
disengage.
cunning action.
Can you disengage from multiple things?
Yeah, the disengage action is like.
Well, the frame doesn't attack, so he
Yeah.
only had to disengage from the
From the
one
beast.
creature.
I just fucking with him.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so Seraphina.
Okay, Seraphina's going to shoot at the beast again. So
Okay.
Wentsu just closes it.
24.
So
that
Nothing
will
to
hit.
see, nothing to see.
there's your-
So 9 points of damage.
Okay.
And then she's going to use her rapier again.
She's always mad at me. It's fine.
So 24.
To hit?
That's
20.
to hit it. Or 20,
26.
26. So 6 points of damage.
Okay. So your rapier through it, and as you watch, it seems to take it longer to coalesce back into its form.
It's the frame's turn,
Okay.
and no one's in the room right now. But I don't know if the tentacle will move. 'Cause there's one tentacle in there.
Basically, a tentacle will pop up on either side of the doorway. The tendrils of darkness reaching out of the room to attempt. Actually, I guess there's already 2 over there.
So like just. Like,
Yeah, either side of the door, basically trying to reach out into the hallway.
So not here.
No, they would form out of the corners and then try and reach out from there.
Okay.
Who is next?
It is the Shadow Beast and Dorian at the same time.
Okay. The Shadow Beast is going to move forward and attempt to attack the 2 at the front of the door frame there. I don't know if you want to take your action first. Or
Yeah, I am going to cast my fireball.
Oh, when it's back here?
Well,
you can target the
It's
room
simultaneous.
too.
Yeah, it is a 20-foot radius. So it's 40 feet across.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast it kind of down towards the room below.
Okay.
So that the majority of the blast is down there and it kind of comes up into the area so that it's not blasting us, but it basically blasts everything in the room.
Though if you hit the back wall, it would only hit everything in the room too.
Okay. Go for it.
So it gets a dexterity save for half damage. DC 16. I'm not certain that a frame gets a dex save.
It's
But
got a natural 1 on the Shadow Beast did. No, the frame wouldn't get a save anyway.
it's a lot of 5s and 6s. So,
That's what we like to hear.
22.
Oh, and the tentacles too.
31 points of fire damage to everything in the room.
Okay. With the great big whoosh of flame, the Shadow Beast completely dissipates like it did the last time when you hit it with a fire spell, but this time it does not reappear. The frame makes a definite cracking sound that you can hear through the rush of the flames and the fires, and there's the sound of wood falling to the desk.
Okay.
The tentacles gone as
And
well.
the tentacles will linger for just a moment, but after you hear the sound of the cracking, the tentacles will also dissipate.
And what happens to the magical rapier that was in there? Probably nothing.
It just
Okay.
sits there swishing around, looking for something to kill. It's ready to fight.
Thank you for this. Oh, yes.
And that takes us off of initiative order.
And that's...
Did you burn up all the notes?
He burned up all the library.
Yeah, anything in there that's...
How close was I to killing that frame?
You were 15 hit points away.
If I could have just hit that.
Yeah, if you had hit it that last round, you probably would have taken it out. I mean, you can't get sneak attack damage on a frame, but it's a fucking frame. It's not exactly.
So is this area still walkable?
Yeah, the floor is still walkable. The wood is scorched, but the support beams were thick and strong, so it's still sturdy enough to walk on.
Is the desk still
The
standing?
desk is also charred, as is the body of the woman that's at it. Her clothing is actually currently on fire. But as for the desk itself, it's...
I pressed digitation to put the fire out on her.
Alright.
Just kind of...
Little sprinkles of water shoot from your hands.
I'm assuming the notes are completely...
The notes are pretty much destroyed, yeah, from the combination of paint having seeped into the pages, and even if it's cleaned away, the pages remain brittle, and the fire then takes it out completely.
I want to use my my sight to detect magic. Is the frame emanating any magic right now that it's broken?
The dark energy that was within the frame before is no more. You can see that there is, it looks like a broken spider web design that would have been there, basically holding the energy to it, and the spider webs are each latched to the various edges of the frame, but of course it's fallen apart and tangled at this point. Looking at it, it looks like it's phase spider silk, so it's much sturdier and would have survived the fire blast itself. Again, the wood is a really dark ebon wood, and the gems on the frame are still there. Only the 4 stones on the... Oh, his phone thinks I'm talking to it.
Oh, because you said web.
Apparently Bigsby said, "Oh, you're telling me about the dark ebon wood."
You do notice that of the 4 stones, 4 of them are socketed in gold shells.
Mm-hmm.
The other 4 are just placed directly onto the wood.
So I'm assuming I know the same ones that he did. Do I recognize the ones that needed an Arcana check?
Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
20 total.
This is not a material that that you've ever seen before, but you have read about it. Most mages think that it is far too volatile to work with voidstone because it is a material from the negative plane that has a tendency to destroy anything it touches unless they are properly molded and secured.
So does it look like they were properly secured?
Mm-hmm. The gold etchings around basically the socket that they sit in is etched with all sorts of runes and emanate a magic of their own for powers for containment and warding.
So we wouldn't want to pry these out.
Probably not. I mean, you can certainly try.
Well, I'm just so I can tell other people who might want to try and pry them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know that even with the casings, it would be best not to touch these, though.
Okay. Yeah. So they were the ones on the front, right? On the.
They were
frame?
the ones on the corner frames, basically on the corners of the frames.
Okay.
And then the loose gemstones are attached in the sections
Okay.
of each of them.
Yeah. So these stones in the corner, that's void stone. Very dangerous. The metal casing is keeping them in, and we don't want to mess with them. Don't want to pry it out. Don't even want to touch it. But
Is this typical of a family like this to dabble in this kind of magic?
Well, actually, I'm not there.
I'm asking you since you brought us here.
And I'm looking at you. Do I know?
As far as you know, they didn't really have spellcasters in the family. That's not what they were known for. They weren't very much the adventurous type. They were.
Is
No.
it still emanate magic?
The frame itself does not. The stones do, though. Something else that all of you notice now that the frame has been destroyed is the oppressing atmosphere of the house that you have felt since you first stepped onto the property has dissipated. It now feels like you're in a normal house. The light coming in through the windows is brighter and seems like natural sunlight.
Alright, I'm going to spend 10 minutes, pull out my spell book, and I'm going to identify.
Okay. It's not a magic item that you identify the frame. It's not a magic item that you've seen before, but it looks like basically what someone was trying to create a portal to the negative plane. And drawing power from that as a power source, hence the void stones. It would have been a fairly complicated spell, but it looks as if the spell itself was stored inside each of these stones.
I go over to the woman, kind of push her out of the chair, and look at her legs.
Okay. One of her boots is badly damaged from the fire, and as her form crumbles to the ground, one of her feet is exposed, and it is bone. The rest of her body is a dried husk, similar to the gas that attacked you on the road, but this foot is just bare, exposed bone.
So,
There we go. Case solved.
And work for these darn kids and their freaking bird.
Okay.
Caw, fuck you.
Fuck you.
Well.
Sorry, we didn't get her alive, but she was dead when we got here.
Yeah.
yeah.
There might still be some sort of reward.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can put two and two together. She was wanted for questioning about murdering, about the murder of a couple of nobles she is found in the house of that noble family.
Yeah.
There was also, I went to the end of the hall and there was a room there and a closet and 3 dead kids. And when one of the kids died, well, he was the older kid, protecting the younger ones. And I had to rid the closet of whatever it was, a spirit of him. And then I had a vision. He took my hand, I had a vision. And a lady had come to their house after his sister got married, and his sister didn't come home. He thought she was just on like a honeymoon, but she was murdered, obviously, and the parents didn't tell the younger kids yet.
Right.
So this lady came to the house to talk to the mom, pay her condolences for something. The little kid was confused why condolences. And there was the mom was not happy with what the lady was saying. And then that night they went to bed and the little kid just had this really, really bad feeling that was just like emanating from this lady, and there was something happened and then he woke up and there's a ghost.
Woke up dead.
Woke up dead.
That happens.
It does.
It's a rough way to start the morning, honestly.
Yeah, so obviously this woman showed up here at their house after having killed.
I wonder why this particular family.
And why kill the newlyweds and then go on to this family? Yeah, I don't know.
The whole family.
Well, if I hadn't burned up all the notes, that might have explained some things, but
You can't blame yourself, Dorian. It just happened.
it seemed like the right thing to do.
It was. You made the right choice.
This is a big house. There might be other clues to what's going on somewhere else. If there's dead kids in a closet, there's other dead bodies. In the
Or
house.
is there still kind of a negative energy with the destruction of the frame and
With
everything?
the destruction of the frame, the house feels a lot lighter.
There might still be some undead around though.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if generally stuff like that doesn't
I don't
necessarily drop.
mind checking the rest of the house, but I think any items that essentially belong to the family and stuff should probably remain to go to
Yeah.
whoever inherits the property, whatever. But I am all for just kind of walking through and eliminating any
When Sue's like,
dangers.
ransack it.
There's a reward though.
Yeah.
Does this corpse have any like magical items or anything on her? Like
Assuming
outside
the
of
leg.
anything that's left?
Um,
Investigating her body and anything that would have survived her untimely demise.
It was timely.
It's it was timely.
Did you leave that dagger in there? Did you leave that dagger in there?
You get the impression that the book that had that was open up on the desk was her spell book, her notes, and
But she doesn't have any like any
nothing
else.
that really stands out. She's got some jewelry on, but it's relatively. It's
Mundane.
almost costume jewelry, like she was using it to try and look above her station.
Like she was some form of charlatan.
Not as
How
high
about the
rank
leg?
as she. The leg itself is an anomaly, but it is not in and of itself magical.
I take the leg.
Okay, Rocket.
Put it in my bag of holding.
Coming from Diora, you would actually remember sometimes accidents happen, especially with this particular person. Cameldia Ingris was a student at one of the academies in the city of Diora, studying necromancy. A spell that she was doing for growth went horribly wrong, and all of the flesh stripped away on her leg, leaving just the bone. It was still a functioning limb, but it's not
Okay.
it's not as separate. I mean, you could hack her leg off. I'm not gonna stop you, but it's
Not like a peg leg.
it's
Yeah, I
it's
thought
not
it might be
Really
like a
cool,
magical
like
peg leg.
skeletal peg
attached.
leg.
yeah, no, it's not an attachment. It is part of her skeletal frame that only continues to function as a regular leg because Diora.
But then we could use it as like her dancing saber, and be like the dancing body fit.
It's my dancing Sparta kick.
Yeah, basically.
Alright.
Alright, so is that it? Or are we going to play out because as far as I can tell, we had pretty much decided that we're just going to go, if there are other creatures in here, just kind of clear them out.
Kind of go check room to room, heading out, back downstairs, and just see if there's any undead to be taken care of.
You do find more ghasts, similar to the ones that were on the road, but they have fallen where they are. Whatever necromantic energy was keeping them
kind of
Okay.
tied to this plane is.
I wasn't sure if it
no
was or
more.
not. Yeah.
I mean, it was only a guess on my part, but it's kind of what I was guessing.
But before when you guys are going through the house and you're checking things out, when you are in the study, which is on the lower level, Vinaldi will actually appear one more time, and his form is almost completely dissipated. And his voice is very quiet. And he just says, "Thank you. You guys can have our Christmas presents. We're not gonna need them." And he points to a shelf up on the bookshelf, and it's not very well concealed, but it's a false shelf. And with that, he will dissipate, hopefully, into the afterlife.
Go and investigate where he was pointing.
Okay. Let me find the correct page for that.
How old does the kid look?
12 years old. Not very old.
I won't do it.
Don't want to start a family just yet.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking to raise a family right now.
On that page. I don't have cool things drawn up like John does, but he's gonna draw them up for me. It's fine.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
On the presents are those things that I was talking about with you in the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You want?
You can read that one out loud
You
if
want
you want
like
to.
item pages or whatever.
Yeah. There's a brief description of what each item would do. Included in basically on the tag for the gift.
So hidden in the cubby are small gift boxes. They don't have much dust on them, and you get the feeling that this was the father's hiding place for his family's Yule presents. The first one says, "For my dearest Regina, a long, thin box about the length of a necklace box, but deeper, almost 2 inches deep. The box has spools of arcane thread in it. There are 3 spools, one of gold thread, one of silver thread, and one of clear, fine thread. The player can have an article of clothing adorned or embroidered with this thread. When they expend a spell slot to change the thread, they can choose to increase their armor class by 1 for the first level slot, by 2 for the second level, or by 2 and a resistance to a single energy type for a third level slot. This effect will last for 12 hours. And then is the thread gone?
It's on the clothing item.
Oh, just
So you would just have to re-up the enchantment,
okay.
but it could be done multiple times. Once it's sewn into an article of clothing, it can't be removed and reused in another article of clothing, but it's re-enchantable each day.
For beautiful Leah, a small jewelry box of woven silver filigree with enough room inside for a handful of gems, coins, or jewelry items. Items stored in this box are extra shiny for 12 hours following the removal of the item from the box. Gems sold after being stored in this box will get an extra 10% market value, and the player will have advantage on diplomacy checks for the duration of the shiny, as people are entranced by their sparkly jewelry. For Vesper, Light of My Life, a small butterfly clip. It can be worn on clothing or in your hair as an accessory, requires attunement. The wearer of this clip can cast dancing lights at will, but they will always appear as multicolored glowing butterflies. In addition, the bearer can cast Fairy Fire or Feather Fall by expending 1 charge. Both spells cast at first level. Creatures affected by the spell are surrounded in fluttering glowing butterflies. The clip has 3 charges. The charges restore at dawn. Oh, that's cool. Every day?
Mhm.
Fairy Fire is really good.
Yeah.
For Vinaldi, my partner in crime, Box of Trouble. This small wooden box is square and seems rather plain except for the symbol of a raven on it. Once per hour, a player can pull an item out of this box. Roll on pages 160 and 161 of the player's handbook. That's what you pull from the box. At the end of the hour, the item retrieved dissipates and the box can be opened again. Oh, cool. I like that. For my clumsy boy Rufus, a small pendant on the end of a gold chain requires attunement. A single 4-leaf clover is trapped in an orb of glass that forms the pendant. Whenever the attuned player rolls a 1 on an attack roll, saving throw, or skill check, they may re-roll. They must keep the second roll. Does that ever run out of?
It's basically per the feat. I think the feat's called Lucky.
Like once a day.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, I think they get 3 re-rolls in a day. So basically, it gives you that feat for free when you're attuned to it.
For Tobias, welcome to the family. A ring of truths. When the user is attuned to this ring, they can discern truth from lie. The ring has 5 charges. Each lie/truth revealed costs 1 charge. Charges restore at midnight.
So you guys basically, you go through the house. When you return to town and alert the authorities, they will go about enacting the family's will. You don't find any survivors, unfortunately, in the home. You do catch a glimpse of the skeletal fawn on your way out of the property, though. So that one's kind of interesting.
Is it still standing?
Yep. Still prancing about. But
Alright. I reach into the bag of holding and pull out the orb.
okay.
Look at the orb. Look at the fawn. And take the fawn with me.
Alright. Kind of prances along next to you. Now that awkward like walk that fawns do because apparently they're not sure where the ground is ever.
It's not strong yet. That's.
Please, accept this gift. It will now obey her.
Seraphina is so excited she faints.
All
It's
because,
not a long fall for you though, so it's okay.
it's all because Dorian is fawning over her.
Oh, Tis. Oh my gosh.
Does she fall like a sack of potatoes?
She's surprisingly delicate.
I will have to do math and figure out what your guys' XP is, but I'll make sure that I'll text it to you, what XP you'll get. I don't think it's probably going to be enough to level because leveling is expensive XP wise, but you guys, you did it.
I don't think a skeletal fawn is going to be able to like fight for you or anything.
But it's
Just,
super
it's just
cute.
But
like
it's
a
her
cute
friend.
little roleplay pet.
Could she ride it?
I don't know. I don't think it's probably not big enough. It's what, small or medium?
I think it would count as a small.
Yeah, she's also small, so
You could ride it. But you could
You could curl
tie
up
a
next to it.
cute little bow
tell
on
us
it.
stories.
Scare the hell out of everybody when you walk
Yes.
into town.
Well, it's hard because it's a skeleton, so that like immediately makes it scary. But anyone who's seen a baby deer knows that there's nothing scary about a baby deer.
She's just gonna get like some kind of like clothing made for it to cover it
Yeah,
to make it
or
like,
she's gonna paint it hot pink.
Why do you have
Purple.
to judge?
It wasn't a judging you.
Silent is judging.
Silent
It's not me, it's my character.
He's judging you silently.
That's what I get to live with, guys.
For the rest of your life. Rats.
Well, Dorian will look at each of you and say, I thank you for your assistance in this endeavor. I don't have much in the way to give in any sort of reward. But should it turn out that the kingdom decide not to actually give you the reward as per the wanted poster, come see me at the consulate and I will make sure that you are compensated.
When you check in with Justin, he will actually honor the full price of the reward. Even though she was wanted alive, it's a tragedy what happened to the rest of the Varden family. And he is glad that they didn't have to try and handle that kind of level of nonsense on their own.
So how much did we ruin the adventure by?
I used 4 pages of my notes for the parts that you guys did. This is a 19-page adventure.
So, to be fair, if you wanted us to do the whole thing, you shouldn't have made it like literally in the first room.
You weren't supposed to be able to get into that room.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're missing a step. I did not account for that. That door, it was blocked off. You would have had to go through the whole house and come into it from the second level of the library.
Yeah,
on the far side.
when I heard there was the humming and we got up there and it was right there, I was like, yeah, we weren't supposed to open that door at all. Like that.
There's like story and like background, more information and shit in the house that you were gonna get off of like the creatures and things like that I will get the word count credit for on AO3 and that's about it.
It's reversible.